7:10. We've got, like I said, our first meeting, our first appointment isn't until 8 o'clock because our 7:30 canceled, so in the mail, we got a ZBA notice that, everybody remember 90 Ball Hill, the Wheatleys? They're going for variance for their garage. If anybody is interested, it is
Now,
on
that's the
August
one-
14th.
Is that Ball Hill or off
Yep.
Captiva?
This one's Ball Hill.
Ball Hill?
Yeah,
Yep.
Captiva was putting, that was a wetland thing.
Yeah,
Right.
it's awfully wet down in behind there, that's why I asked.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got a flag.
Yeah, no, these are the people who, like, this much of their garage is gonna be in the buffer zone.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so we had them do an RDA, and that was that.
okay.
Okay, so if no one's interested in that, I will recycle that. We got a bill from Pat Garner for 52 Randall Road, which is the Muldoon property, for $475.
Before I would move to pay it, now can we push that back off onto the proponent? Pat says we should be, the person doing the work should be paying these bills, not us. So we've got to, I won't move to pay it. We should, I don't know what the law is. We gotta look that up so that we can send a letter along with this saying,
Right.
huh? Because I don't know how to word it.
Right.
Which how to say it.
Pat had said something about needing to have a bylaw in place in order to be able to do that. And I don't, we may have the bylaw in place, I don't know.
Okay.
Do you want to
If not, we better do it.
research this?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Hold off for the couple of weeks. Can I take that as a
You can.
reminder?
Yep.
I'll try
I
not
want a
to
copy.
lose it.
Let's-
Yeah.
let's
Make a copy of that. So you put it
Do we
in
want to
records.
make a copy?
Okay,
I
yeah.
think we need
All
to
right, I'll go make.
make sure that doesn't leave.
Oh, you're left out. You're all ready. She was on her feet, ready to go make a copy.
Who went?
Nobody.
5 Randall Road.
So what's the official
The,
position with that paper? Is
we're
tabling
going
it?
to,
Tabling
yeah,
it.
we're going to table it
Research,
to see if we can have,
A copy, right?
the applicant pay the fee. I've heard that they do.
Sometimes you have to do it up front, though.
You have to tell them.
up front.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we don't have a bylaw that state. I don't believe we have.
We may, and we just don't know it. So,
Yeah.
so that's what we need to find out. And if not, we should put it on the fall warrant.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, let's let the cameraman.
Got that?
Yep. Do we have a warrant?
Sure.
You do?
No,
What do you-
I don't know.
Oh, what,
Ah.
will there be a special town meeting in the fall? Is that what you're asking?
No.
Oh,
He
okay.
knows
Oh,
us.
do we have a bylaw?
I thought I'd rope him in. Why not? He's over there Googling. Google's your friend, though.
All right. Is he gonna care about, well, we should wait.
Yeah. Might be a while. You gotta figure out the printer, copier.
Liz, next time you go.
Last meeting was June, wasn't it? Do we have any copies of the expenses and so forth that were submitted? And oh, I got it on the minutes. Never mind.
For,
I think there was a reassessment. There was this
It was.
$8,000.
Yeah.
yes,
Rick-
and then Walter.
Walter, for like 46 or something, 40-something. It's in the minutes at the end of the
Yeah, I
minutes.
saw the minutes. I read it.
Right.
Wow, you read my minutes?
Oh, we didn't actually read
Wow.
the minutes. I felt like we were starting weird.
They're pretty good minutes. I think you should be really doing them.
Except my
no.
name is misspelled.
I did that.
He
so
did a lot
well.
of spellings too.
Huh?
Yeah, there's.
Well, I like it better.
some grammar
Digricola. It's kind of like
Oh.
dig. It's cooler than.
Wow, I copied it off
Digricola.
another one.
It's still
okay.
pronounced
Oh,
the same.
sorry.
So, wow, okay. I didn't know how to spell it either, so I copied off
It's all
of
right.
minutes.
It's okay. I don't care.
It's all right.
Did you?
Picking on
How do you spell it?
Degruttola.
Well, let's fix it. So let's-
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's like,
DEG, is that what you said?
DEG.
Instead of
Okay.
DIG.
Yeah.
DEGRUTTOLA.
Correct.
Ah, that's
See, I
cool.
would have used the same sound anyway.
Digger
Vowel
Tola?
sound. No, Either way, I or E, I still would use because it's
Oh.
degrula,
It's technically Degrutala, I guess, but
degrutala.
Degratola. Degratola is
No,
usually how people
Degrutala.
say. Degrutala is
Yeah,
really how
see,
it is.
so you're still using
Degrutala. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
it's the same vowel sound.
It
is,
it's fine.
yeah.
It's totally fine. I'm just picking. I don't
No,
care.
it's correct.
It's not my name. It's my husband's name.
Awesome. All right, Kara, do you want me to hold on to this? Are you going to ask, or do you want me
He's gonna
to?
look to see if we have a bylaw
Well,
first.
I'll let you.
Well, no, you can keep that copy. I'll keep this copy and
Okay,
we'll.
you
all
check
right.
it out.
All right, so let's read the minutes. I jumped in with 2 feet before that.
I can read if people want my voice.
Sure.
Sure.
You got it.
Minutes, July 17th, 2019, 7 PM. Attendees, Carolyn, John, Liz, Steve, Louise, Walter. And Louise arrived late. Also,
There's a reason why I
Holly,
put that in, actually.
Yeah,
because of the
It's
vote.
important.
yep.
Holly and Robin. Meeting opened at 7:10. Meeting minutes. Liz read the 6:19 minutes. Motion. Walter made a motion to accept the minutes as read with the corrected amendments. Seconded. John seconded the motion. Vote. The motion passed unanimously. 7:15 West Street, land removal from Chapter 61 Forestry. Lucy Ayers attended the meeting. The discussion was on Lot D, 2.08 acres. This is a purchase and sale agreement. The CC commented it would like to have more information on what is proposed. What is proposed changes.
Oh, that's wrong, yeah.
What is proposed.
What are proposed?
What
No
proposed.
verbs.
What are the proposed
What-
changes?
Yeah.
What are the proposed changes that would occur to the site? Motion. Walter made a motion to table a vote to the next CC meeting to gather additional information on the intended usage of the land. Seconded. Liz seconded the motion. Vote. Motion passed unanimously. 7:30. Waterman and River Bridge.
Get rid of the
Just-
end.
Was that an extra N?
Extra N.
Yep.
Yeah.
River Bridge Phase 1. Eric Vansness.
Kindness?
I got his business card, so I know it's spelled right.
Vangsness. WDA Design Group.
Vaginus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Attended the meeting. The purpose is to take
Oops.
off the,
No.
Purpose is to
take,
Complete the INRAD. Sign off.
to sign
sign
off.
off instead of take off?
Yeah.
Take off, sign off.
Who the heck wrote these?
I know.
Right?
Gee, spell checker
I
doesn't.
think it's fabulous. The purpose is to sign off the ARAD.
Sign off on the INRAD.
DEP 107-0244, map 12, parcels 1 and 2.
So, it wasn't an ANRAD. I'm fairly, are you sure it was? Because usually ANRADs don't,
ARAD?
do they have DEP numbers? RDAs
new?
don't. Yeah, that's, I was very confused by this section.
Bring my note with me. Yeah, we're all here. You remember?
Well, he's actually,
I thought it was ANRAD, too.
okay, all right.
That was July
Right, and he's coming in at 8:30 anyway, so if we really are confused. So,
So what is this? I wasn't here.
These are my notes. ANRAD, oh, so it's not ARAD, it's
That's
an
ANRAD. I got it
ANRAD.
right in this part, so.
Okay,
I got it right.
so-
It's right on the motion.
So that N that we took off
Yeah, I
after
got it.
Waterman?
Yeah, I had to
can go
move it over.
It all balances out. Okay, so next page. Motion, Liz made a motion to approve the ANRAD, seconded, John seconded the motion, vote, motion passed unanimously. The signed
I
ANRAD
missed it again.
Yeah, wow.
was hand-delivered to Eric Vangsness.
Bang. And the next.
COC, Certificate of Compliance for River Bridge Phase 1. The CC received a copy of the stamped plan, as-built plan, job 0661.19, date 6/26/19, drawn by JPW ECV.
we should add the DEP number into that,
Yeah, what is?
which is 208.
107-208.
Yep.
So what is the difference between this one and the one before?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was confused.
This is the COC.
I
But
know,
you called it River Bridge Phase 1, which is.
right, I know the COC was 208 because I did the paperwork on that today and I have that request. It was the,
Yeah, River Bridge North Phase 1, that's the extension, right, through
Right.
731. Yep, okay. That's correct. I was pretty quick.
Good to go?
Well,
No.
no, what is the one before, Waterman and River Bridge Phase 1? The new 0244, what is,
does anybody remember?
Oh, I didn't take a note of
What
that.
Yeah,
part
that's the one that comes
of-
in.
Yeah.
I'll go find the, I can go look at the phone.
We could look at the film, but the cameraman didn't show up last meeting.
2004. That's okay.
Right, yeah,
Just-
we've got to
I'll
have
figure
the
that out
file
here.
in there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Motion, Walter made a motion to approve the stamp plan, as-built plan. Seconded, John seconded the motion. Vote, motion passed unanimously. 8 o'clock, 35 Randall Road, septic repair, DEP 107-0242. Seth Donahoe attended the meeting. Pat Garner has reviewed the site. There was,
Sorry, 0242 is our DEP number.
Hmm,
0243.
No, what,
0243 is the Muldoons.
ooh, you're good.
it is, it's sitting right here.
So it's supposed to be a 3?
Yep.
Okay. All righty. There was discussion on if this was the best location. An alternative position would require crossing a wetland. Motion, Walter made a motion to take a vote on the plan presented at the meeting. Seconded, Carolyn, large. Seconded the motion.
She's the head honcho.
Loudly.
Gets-
Right,
Um,
apparently, but not in all
Vote.
caps.
Copied that from something too.
Yep.
Motion passed. Walter, no. Carolyn, yes. Steve, yes. Liz, no. John, yes. And we don't need to say that Louise abstained, right?
She had nothing to do with this anyhow, doesn't matter.
She
I don't
wasn't,
think
she
she was here at
wasn't,
the time.
She abstained because she
I
was
don't
late.
think she was
wasn't
here, yeah.
Because this happened at 8 o'clock and she
She
came
came
at
at
8:30.
Oh,
Right.
oh, she abstained from something else. Never mind. 8:30 PM, Plastridge, Sawyer Hill Road, enforcement order, update. Pat Garner has reviewed the site. The wetland flags have been reestablished. The erosion control barriers have failed. Work has not started to repair the siltation erosion. Work was to be completed by this date. Discussion on this topic is moved to the next meeting. Hopefully, there will be more information and progress to discuss at the next meeting. 8:45 PM, 16 Captiva Road. The owners of 16 Captiva Road attended the meeting. The owners are seeking to put a deck off the side of their home. The plan sketch shown at the meeting did not show where the wetlands are located. The CC responded with a wetland delineation. Flagging needs to occur. Do we have their names?
I didn't have it, that's why. I didn't get it.
Captiva Road. Oh, I didn't write it either.
Yeah, I would've put the names if I knew it, but
I did not bring a copy of the agenda, but I can find a copy of
Here's
the
a-
agenda.
Here's a copy of the agenda, but it's not on there either.
From last,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the last not on there.
It's got a street address, but,
Oh, all right, let me see if I can find the email.
okay. Keep reading?
Yep.
Okay.
64 Captiva?
16.
16.
Captiva.
CMRPC invoice. The CC received an invoice for the work done on the development of an open space and recreation plan, OSRP. The invoice was for the amount of $8,000. Motion. John made a motion to approve the payment of the CMRPC invoice for the development of an open space and recreation plan, OSRP /
Nope, should be a new line.
okay, so period.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
seconded for the amount.
Second, it got in the wrong place.
Okay. So just
the-
got
for-
rid of slash seconded, yeah?
Right.
Okay. OSRP for the amount of $8,000. Liz seconded the motion. Vote. Motion passed unanimously. Reimbursement. Walter is seeking reimbursement for payment on bushes purchased from Gillis Landscape, the amount of $36. Walter is also seeking reimbursement for payment for a registered mailing on an enforcement order issued to Muldoon. Motion. Carolyn made a motion to approve the reimbursement to Walter for the amount of $42.30, $36 plus $6.30.
You misspelled Gillis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. Is it IS?
It is, yeah.
You also skipped over the Eagle Scout thing, but that's okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We can just all agree we read it in an alternative universe.
Yep. The other thing I'd like to do is under reimbursement on the second one, it says issue to Muldoon in the amount of $630.
And then say that again.
Walter is also seeking reimbursement for payment for registered mailing on an enforcement order issued.
Right.
Issued to Muldoon for the amount of $6.30.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Carolyn made a motion. $42.30 is $36 plus $6.30. John seconded the motion. Motion passed unanimously. Rail Trail update. Robin has attended a Rail Trail meeting and gave a report on the discussion/status. Robin stated both Bolton and Clinton are showing interest along with Berlin on having a rail trail.
That should actually be Hudson and Clinton.
Hudson and Clinton.
Hudson already has one.
This-
Yeah,
I think
but-
there is a rail trail in Bolton.
Oh.
Okay. Robin stated both Hudson and Clinton are showing interest, along with Berlin, on having the rail trail. A Berlin to Rutland feasibility study is in progress. A completion date targeted by September 2019. The Rutland to Barre, B-A-R-R-E, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trail is in place. The DCR is pushing to get the rail trail in place. There's a planning board meeting scheduled for August 13th on zoning issues for a bridge at the Five Corners in Berlin.
It's actually not for the bridge, it's about that property on the corner of West Street.
There's a planning board meeting scheduled for August 13th. Zoning issues
Regarding property,
There's a new development, I forget what the name of it is.
Is there a name for it?
regarding the,
Up behind Lucier's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next to it,
It's
yeah.
at the corner
that-
there.
Yep,
Five Corners.
yep.
okay, so, on zoning issues regarding
Property
the property,
being developed.
It's
No.
just to make sure that we
Yep.
we have the proper zoning for the rail trail to, regardless of what they build there.
so what I put, scheduled for August 13th on zoning issues regarding the potential development on West Street at Five Corners in
Yeah.
Berlin. Is that all right?
Yeah.
wow, that's really good. Better than what I had.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Best
240
compliment I've had in ages. The only compliment I've had.
244 South Street. First right of refusal. Right of first refusal?
Right of first roof.
First right of refusal?
No, right of first refusal.
Right, yeah.
Okay, right of first refusal.
First left of refusal.
First refusal. A decision was made in April 2019 to not exercise the right of first refusal on 244 South Street. At that time, a purchase and sale agreement was not in place. Motion. Carolyn made a motion to not exercise the right of first refusal for 244 South Street. Walter seconded the motion. Motion passed unanimously. Liz made a motion to adjourn. Steve seconded the motion. Motion passed unanimously. Meeting ended at 10:12 p.m.
Which is past my bedtime, I'd like to know.
John was very sleepy.
Is it necessary at all to put in here why there would be a right of first refusal on this property? I mean, like,
What's that?
Like,
Carol?
Maybe-
There's probably it's chapter 60.
right,
was
do we need to put that in
61A.
here, or?
It's not a
That would
bad
be
idea. Was it a 61, 61A, or 61B?
It was
Do you
a B.
remember?
She said it was used for hunting, so I guess it would be
B.
61B,
B.
wouldn't have been
That's right.
A.
It's
Right, it's
Yeah.
recreational, I know,
Recreation.
Yeah, so
whichever.
it's
Yeah, this
61B.
was made in April.
Regarding chapter 61B property.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything about the scouts?
Oh, no. I mean, I did last time. I don't have an update. He went to camp. So he's back from camp and he wants to get everything done this weekend, and I
It's gonna be,
told him I'm on call, so we'll get a little bit done. But he's been at camp for 2 weeks, so.
Nolan?
Yeah.
indicated April 29th, to exercise the right of refusal on the 61B property at 244 South Street.
Will be mine.
Motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
Yeah. Well, you-
All those in
you can't say
favor? Yeah, I can't, yeah, no, you
Oh,
made
wait,
the
wait.
motion, yeah. I can't find the name.
Let me see.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I didn't write it either.
Gmail sorts emails frustratingly. So, motion to accept. Any other changes?
Oh, wait. This slate, is it this?
No. No.
No.
8:30.
I remember they sat right here. She sat here
Kevin
and stood up, a
Shiva.
little kid.
Yeah.
I can know their faces,
The
but I never heard their
baby-
The baby
names.
was adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Me.
All right. Yeah, no, I always clean out the minutes from, and the agenda from last meeting.
I have a copy of
From my
it. Didn't
folder.
have a name on it. She has to-
All right, so that was the minutes. Carol, I gave you what you needed. Okay. Certificate of compliance for 5 Randall Road. We have a request for a certificate of compliance, so that is the retaining wall that was falling down. I think I forwarded everybody the pictures.
No.
Okay,
No,
I
I
didn't?
didn't get any pictures.
I don't remember any
But I've
pictures.
seen it multiple times.
Right, yeah, it looks great.
It looks great,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the new one? I did.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I rode by there this morning.
Oh, there you go.
Looks good.
All right.
You making a motion, we just,
Making a motion that,
Wait, there is one thing.
yes, sir?
He still has some silt fence up, but he may want to leave it up, because didn't he want to put a pool in?
He does, but at this
That's a
point,
different-
that'll probably be next spring.
So, I mean, the silt fence is on his property, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But are we, like, normally we would, like, that has.
Right.
but it's on his
Has
property
the,
Has it
is there any
revegetated?
soil, exposed soil? Or is
It's all
it all
revegetated?
regrown? Okay. I can just send him an email saying,
He can take it
hey,
down if he wants.
Right.
All right.
okay,
He's got mulch in there on the top, but it all looks, it looks nice.
right, all right, cool. Make a motion.
Motion.
I move we issue the COC on 5 Randall Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's sign that.
Peach Hill Road, did everyone see the Bobcat that was posted?
Yeah,
No.
Bobcat.
it was on
We have-
Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. We have two mating
Yeah,
pairs.
we have
Is
a
it nighttime one?
Bobcats are my.
Nope.
favorite.
Yeah.
In the day. Yeah, it was a great picture.
Yeah.
Talk about the one with the front loader, right?
The one with the deer.
Yeah, that was an awesome picture.
Bless you.
Okay, then we have order of conditions for the Peach Hill Road septic. We voted on last time, so we just need to sign it. Find the signature page. And there are 2 2, 4, 6 signers.
You were supposed to be on 8 o'clock. You're late.
So,
One
this,
sec.
what are we doing? This is the OC for Peach Hill?
This is the OOC for Peach Hill.
But we don't have to vote on this, right?
Correct, because we already did. We're just signing it, just signing the order of conditions.
Thanks, Walter.
And then I have the certificate of compliance. I know I do. For 208, for Riverbridge. So that's the wells. And that part of the property,
On the west side of the road.
on the west side, correct.
Just looked up. Yep, we'll add that to the minutes.
I know it's here somewhere, but here we go.
Cantor? A-L-C-A. Alcantara. Is there an A at the end?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Great.
How'd you do that?
Do you want to be an associate member?
Had to look it up.
Oh, well, I guess that works. Thanks.
Did
I was trying to get our public records here and it wasn't giving them to me, so.
Steve, is that the order of conditions in your hand?
Yes.
All right, I'm just wondering why I didn't have that. Okay, so certificate of
Can I sign
compliance.
this since I wasn't here?
No.
Okay. So here. 16.
Go. That's that.
This is.
And we'll make copies of everything at the end of the night.
This is the COC for Riverbridge 107028.
Correct.
So we didn't have to vote on it?
No, because we voted on it at our last meeting. Remember when we were?
No. But we just read the minutes.
Yeah, that was one of the ones we were all confused about, and we added the, so it was, we added, so COC, Certificate of Compliance for Riverbridge Phase 1.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And we added the 208
You got a signature.
to the minutes, yep.
So this was not.
208, that's that one, that's that one, that's that. All right, so all those need copies made.
July what?
Well,
17th.
we decided to table that. I don't know, I guess we can take Lucy early, right?
Sure.
We're trucking right along, so we can, we're ready for you if you're ready.
That's because our 7:30 canceled.
Yes. So, I mean, we just read the minutes, so we were concerned about what the additional 2.8 acres was going to be used for. So I emailed Harold Reeder and asked him, and he said, his response is, yes, the additional 2+ acres is truly just for the buffer and will not have solar panels on it. The amount of land that is covered by solar is equal to the amount of land protected. The solar array covers 21.58 acres, and the protected land shown in gray is,
That's the old map.
this is the map.
Right.
Right. So this is what was approved, this is what's in the protective covenant, and what he's saying is none of what this shows will change with the addition of Lucy's property.
Because it's not gonna have any solar panels.
It's not gonna have any solar panels, correct?
What is it gonna have? Chickens?
It's gonna,
Leave it wooded.
It's buffer.
No, it's not.
To
But then if
make
he
it
wants to
equal.
take it out of 61B.
What's gonna be?
Clear cutted.
Huh?
It's gonna be clear cutted.
I would imagine. I would imagine they need it for sunlight.
All right.
No, they can't do the entire thing. They have to have a 20-foot buffer. That was what the zoning board had.
Right, 20 foot, and then, but then they can cut down whatever trees after that that they want.
If it's in the way, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've cut down everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's leveled.
So it says the additional 2 acres will not affect the provisions of the covenant, which is what we were concerned about. So,
I did call him about a possibility of right away across it. He
2.08
didn't get back
acres,
to
yeah.
me, but, you know, we have no rights to anything like that, so I would move that we just prove it.
But if this is being additional acreage to the overall project, how does it not affect the covenant?
How's what?
because it doesn't have,
Panels on
Yeah,
it.
because
Solar
the
panels.
covenant's very specific about that one point, which is the area of the solar panel array has to
What
have
has
an
to be
equal
matched.
amount. So
Right.
they could
So
put
they
a
needed to
merry-go-round
buy
on
it
that
to
thing.
make
It
it
doesn't
equal.
matter.
right,
With respect.
right. They
It's
could
not the
have,
overall acreage being used for whatever, it's
Right.
just what's covered in panels.
And this,
yeah,
Pardon me, this land's being sold to whom?
0 point.
So they're gonna own that little,
They
Yeah.
are.
so that's not the readers are, I mean.
POTUS.
The
POTUS.
POTUSes are, just.
Correct.
Yeah,
okay.
so what's gonna
Right.
happen in 25 years?
They own
well, they're gonna have a landlocked building lot, house lot.
Landlocked, good.
Right, yeah, it's not a big enough piece of land for us to be concerned about, but our main concern was the covenant, and I feel like that has been answered. So Walter has made a motion, I second. Does anybody else have anything else to say about it?
So I just wanted to ask then, so they still are gonna take it out as 61B, correct? That was the whole thing, so it makes it sound like wasn't that,
Yeah,
they are. So,
but just those 2 acres, though.
right.
Yeah.
So that means, yeah, that
Yep.
they can do whatever they want with it.
Yes, they
Yep.
can.
Back
Right.
taxes.
Yep.
When I talked to them, it was unclear to me whether they're gonna take it out or not. If they didn't take it out, we wouldn't even be voting on it, you know, we wouldn't have to vote on it, but nevertheless, we can vote, it
what do
won't
we
hurt
vote?
if we vote not to, to waive our right of first refusal.
Right, which
Right.
is really the only
That's
question.
right.
The
That's the
question
vote.
is,
We-
the que-
Right.
the vote question is, are we going to buy it or are we not?
No, we're not.
And we're not,
Yeah.
so
Right.
we are waving our, raving our white.
Right.
It's like a white flag.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're home
All
free.
right, Lucy, you are all.
So what's the next step for me?
No idea.
Because Ashley said they might not have to take it out of 61B, but is there a limit, or is there a certain, amount, like, I was just reading, if it's less than 5 acres, it has to be more than 5 acres to be 61B.
I think that's true.
Yeah,
But it also may not be your problem.
okay.
Because you're selling the land.
I'm selling it, so I don't,
Right.
I don't care, but what's my next step with this?
Cash the
Make
check.
some money.
Yeah.
Before the select board?
We would have no idea. I would imagine. Is Mary still down in her office?
she is.
Pop down and just ask her
Why?
to see if she needs to go before the select
Why would
board.
she?
Why would she?
I-
They're just selling it.
Yeah.
So if she's got a purchase and sale, I would think just get the,
I have, yeah,
So you have
almost
more
10.
than, okay. So you
Yeah,
have-
I'm all set.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can go ahead with this. I will.
I mean, you can double check with those guys.
Yeah, well, if
But we're-
it does come out of 61B, there's, I think, approximately 5 years of
Yeah.
back taxes
Mhm.
that,
Is it 5 or 7?
yeah,
Yeah, either way.
7, but yeah.
As long as you should have raised it, you don't pay it, yeah.
yeah, oh, no, I already did.
Yeah.
I did my homework.
Yep.
They came to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, thank you
Yep.
very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep, have a nice evening.
You too, enjoy.
All right. So that's Lucy. So I know we've got lots of. Yeah, I move that we adjourn for an hour. All right. Well, we have
We got plenty to talk about.
yes. I have a reimbursement request here for Leanne for $4.05 for some mailing she did for us.
That who did first?
Leanne?
Town administrator?
No?
No, I mean, the runner, or whatever.
Building and Land Use Office.
Oh, okay. Gee.
Leanne Leahy is,
She
she
does-
works
oh.
in the, I mean, technically, it's the Land Use Office, but it's the building inspector.
Are we entitled to any of her, a percentage of her time or anything?
Mailing.
Just,
I mean, technically,
Yeah,
yes, we
yeah.
are, but I have been informed several times that she doesn't have enough time to help us because ZBA takes all her extra time.
well, I would just, like, I had to come in the other day and help this guy get a copy of that plan, of River Bridge. Remember, he was requesting it, so I
Yep.
came in, I could only find one. I let him take it, and he had it back at the next day, so, but I had to come up here and do it. Leanne, she could have walked right in and done
Right.
it, you know.
Yeah, I
That-
didn't even
actually,
think
that's
to
the
ask
move.
her, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Motion to pay.
What are you looking for, a motion?
yeah,
I move that we pay the bill.
all right.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And I just have to file that. So I guess for Lucy, I just have to email select board or the town administrator, the lawyer, somebody,
I would just do
everybody.
Board of Selectmen. I'd put Eloise on it or whatever, I don't know.
Does Eloise need, I mean,
don't know.
not that she doesn't need to know, but she doesn't need another email.
True. Her records probably have to be updated somewhere. Who owns what parcel?
Is Louise coming?
No.
Louise is not. Louise is in Maine. Yeah. All right. Well, Eric, you are early, but so aren't we. So,
This is
oh,
Eric.
did this have to get posted?
I don't think so. This was just informal.
Right.
But I was waiting for, if it's okay, we have representatives from NRP Group, and I think Matt said he's gonna be here too.
Oh, sure.
Okay, sure, we can wait.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Got plenty of-
But
Is really
I did
taken.
tell him to come a half an hour early, so hopefully they'll
It-
be here by 8.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Talk about a couple of trail things.
Sure.
So, the three of us met last week briefly to sort of talk about
Oh, right.
the rail trail thing. And essentially, we're just going to be keeping an eye on when the railroad people are looking
Yeah.
for advice about how, the state is looking for advice about,
The feasibility study,
Okay.
when they get back to us on
Right.
what their next steps are.
Okay. Right, so until they do that, there's not much
Yeah.
happening.
Right. And then I also want to talk about a potential rail trail, not a rail trail, a trail subcommittee. And after we met, I spent some time with Mary to talk about governance issues.
Okay.
And it sort of the gist of it is that with respect to the rail trail thing, it's better, sometimes to me, if it's better if we have this as sort of an ad hoc citizens thing unconnected with the conservation committee.
Because we're working with Hudson on that.
And
Right,
also-
so kind of a friends of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that does, so we don't have to worry about any like meeting postings and stuff like that. The only potential tickler there is we probably shouldn't meet in town offices, but we can arrange that. I mean, if you need to meet at my house. But,
Right.
Just let me comment on that. No, I mean, I'm sorry, I grew up here. This is Berlin. And is there some legal problem if we meet in town
Yeah.
meetings? What?
There isn't. It's not a huge problem, from what I understand. But I'm not the. We can meet here.
Because worrying about all this
it's not my
detail
issue.
stuff is what discourages volunteers, You come in, let's have a meeting and do something, if you gotta go through, I would never sign anything coming in here, bring you in and have a meeting. Let's just come in and meet.
Right. We would have to make sure that if enough of us were together, that we didn't talk about conservation stuff, because that
Oh, yeah.
that violates
Right.
open meeting law. Anyway, so, but I think you're in agreement, it would be it's sort of an ad hoc thing, so.
Right.
So, but the other issue is the trail subcommittee, which would be more of a potentially official thing, although Mary and Eloise are not in agreement about how, if that is that kind of a subcommittee thing needs to be posted or as a meeting or not. So I asked Eloise to think about it for a little bit.
Okay.
This came up because of, these guys and Walter are meeting with a person from Bolton.
Next week?
Yeah,
Wednesday.
so we're, the four of us plus Liz?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, yeah.
From Bolton.
From Bolton.
Are meeting next Wednesday at 3:30
Here.
here. And
Did you guys reserve the room?
I did.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So, to talk about connecting some trails, the Wattaquatic Trail area with the Wenda Trail area, and maybe going right through it and connect to the 40 Caves area, which would be kind of cool,
That'd be awesome, yeah.
you know.
Really awesome.
So, but this brought to mind, so this could be a one-off, but but trail stuff comes up. So the question is, do we have a trail subcommittee?
That'd be some sort of official status to it, I suppose.
Right.
But then,
Eloise claims there was a trail committee.
Yeah, there
back
was.
when I was in elementary school.
No, there was the
That long ago?
Yeah.
committee that always was against it.
No, that's the
No,
rail.
that's a rail trail
This is
committee.
different. This is just trails. This has nothing to do with rails.
I don't ever remember a Trails Committee. We talked about someone, Joe Schmo do this and someone else do that, but we never had a designated committee for this stuff.
So what are you envisioning
Yeah.
as far as a trails subcommittee? Would it be members of the Conservation Commission only?
No.
Or, okay.
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think it has to be controlled by the Conservation Commission, so hence the subcommittee.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be,
Right, so that it's not a bunch of people who just go hacking trails around
Yeah.
town.
and making new trails and stuff like
Right.
that.
Well,
So
we would have to prove, it should come before us.
Right.
That's
so
exactly
that's-
my point.
Right.
That's exactly my point. But stuff comes up. So like this Wendland Trail thing is an example. A more common example is just trail maintenance stuff or this Boy Scout stuff,
Right.
There's, particularly if that property at the end of Pisgah it actually becomes available.
Sure.
There's a lot of washout in that area. That downhill area, there's a tremendous amount of washout, and that's a problem.
Right.
Because the trail's literally degrading, and there's just tons of erosion. Has nothing to do with mountain bikes. It's all about the water flowing down. So that's an example of something that might come up. Now, some of that might be complicated as far as figuring out how to
Right.
reroute that around the washout. Essentially, it's an intermittent stream now. The trail is an intermittent stream.
Is that where that vernal pool has developed, like in the middle of
No,
the
this is
stream?
uphill from that.
Okay.
This is at a different, I can show you on a map.
Okay.
If you'd like. But the thing is, I'm not really bringing that up now. I'm just an example of something that would be something to discuss.
But isn't that part of the when we met with the state and they wanted that plan for the grant and everything? One of the things was establishing a trail system with our open space. That was one of the things we planned on. I mean, so I think it justifies having the committee to say, yes, we do have a plan in place to provide trails, to try to have connectivity with our open space.
Right, yeah. Goes along with our stated goals.
Right.
But we
right.
were talking about, with Mary, was it? Is her name?
Mary.
Do we have to follow open meeting laws and, post an agenda and take minutes, like when the Trails Subcommittee meets?
So Mary says yes, Eloise says no. So I told them to sort it out.
Eloise.
So we're hoping for no.
Right.
Yeah.
But even then, it's not that big a deal, because this is literally a committee that can meet once a year formally.
Right.
And then
Right.
just do informal stuff by stuff.
Okay. So are you proposing that we vote on creating a Trails Committee? Are you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. Because, I mean, you know, to at least have a shell.
My guess is you will have to do it.
Pardon me?
I'm on the Earthworks Committee, and that doesn't have any power or anything. Board of Selectmen make all the rules. All we do is look over paperwork and advise, and we
I would
have to
leave it
keep
ad
minutes and
hoc.
everything. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't make it formal. Think about it. Just ad hoc. Want to meet? Meet.
Well, I mean, that is another option. It's like we could just do it sort of like one-offs, sort of sort of a specific assignment.
You're not making any decisions, you're just coming up with proposals and looking at
No,
things.
well, right, we're not making any, no, we're making proposals that would be brought to this committee, so.
Right.
But on the other hand, it does help a little bit with sort of like recruitment issues. So, because some of this stuff may require getting people with handsaws, you know, or chainsaws even, oh my God. You know, because right now, the people that have been doing it recently in the last few years have been Walter and I, but that's
Right.
just like because we felt like it.
Right.
But also the equestrian community, like I started this Facebook page. I haven't made it public yet because we hadn't really had a real trail system or committee yet. But they would be totally interested in as well, maintaining the trails, keeping them clear. They would participate in that as well because we want to have that to ride in.
Right, but you also want to make sure that they're doing it appropriately. So
Right, of course.
One way of making sure that's done appropriately is have it feed through the Concom.
Right.
Right.
All right, well, let's see what Mary and Eloise say. We table it till next meeting?
That's fine. We are going to meet next week, though, so.
Right,
But that's a
with
different.
Rebecca, yeah.
Yes, but that's
Yeah.
just so it'll, and it won't,
When and where?
here,
Here.
3:30.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
There's an email chain, but the last email went out at least a couple of weeks ago, so. But,
Yeah, we'll have to follow up with that.
you want to do that?
Yeah.
Re-energize it?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So we can also talk about the Dilling, the walk that we took the other day.
yep.
But if we're gonna talk about money, should we go into executive session or
What do we want to talk about?
the Dilling property?
Why do we have to,
Oh, okay.
Why do we have to go on executive session for that?
If we're gonna talk, we don't have to.
You got something more to,
No, I just, Carol and I took a nice walk through there, brought home 3 ticks.
I didn't have any.
That was
That's
it
it?
for that one,
Yeah.
yeah, I got bug eaten. But actually, it's a nice
Yeah.
piece of property, the wetlands at the top, it's,
It's
we got some
beautiful.
pictures, it's beautiful
I
back
know
there.
it.
Yeah.
It butts our conservation land next to it. Actually, from looking at the map, you don't have to cross anybody else's land. It does actually physically tie together, so you don't need a right-of-way.
Really?
They're actually
There's
in the
little
corner. If you look
teeny
at the little
tiny
right by the
sliver.
Clinton line?
Huh?
Right
Yeah.
by the Clinton line? Up-
Right between the property below it, above it. I said, which
Okay.
one do we
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Dobeck.
Dobex, yeah. We don't have to cross any land of, we don't have to leave our land to get to this land,
I'll
put it
be
that way.
darned.
There's a little sliver when you open it up. I open up the maps when,
Yeah, that's this one, and then, looks like.
there's a little sliver in that corner. There's a little sliver in that corner.
Right up here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
So you don't need a right of way, anything. It's actually a butts. So.
Good.
So in other words, my view is, it is definitely a nice habitat area and the whole works. Now the question is, money really is the question. And I did read the letters that you sent earlier. Actually, my view is it's pretty fair. Even the price. So,
So the offer that has been made
Yeah.
is 30,000.
right.
That was when? When was that offer made?
That was-
Twice.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
more
long time.
recent,
And then
11.
again, more recent, yeah.
Yeah.
2011, I
Yeah.
think.
So I haven't talked money with her.
How many acres on it?
26.08 or something like that.
$30,000.
It's 100% landlocked.
Yes. It's just pristine.
There is no possibility of,
Nope.
I'm pulling up the GIS now.
Yeah.
If you got into it, it's not very buildable. It's very, very rough piece of land. The wetlands and the steep slopes.
Yeah,
and-
the wetlands are all on the north side of it.
Ledge.
There's actually a lot of good land in there.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a nice trail through there. I mean, we did find a snowmobile in the woods, it was abandoned.
We did.
So it must not have been that good if it got abandoned there, something happened to
Yeah,
it.
the engine's missing out of it, but
Oh.
the rest of the machine's still there
But we actually had to go in through Clinton.
to get in there.
We drove around a neighborhood and there's
Buffer.
development, yeah, up at Buffton Farms.
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
that connected into 40 Ks at all, or no?
yeah,
Sits on
It
top of it.
does?
yeah.
Sits to the north.
So,
Yeah,
Great.
it all tied all together.
Oh, that's
right,
awesome.
so technically, it does touch. So, this is 40 Caves, this is the Dobecks, and this is the piece of property we're talking about.
Could you outline with your pen that piece of property?
This one, right there.
And that has
just that
no
little
road
bit?
access?
Nope.
Nope.
This
That's-
is Clinton
that's
line.
like- that-
That's
that-
Clinton, this is all Clinton. And this is all private land over here, but to see if you blow up right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't let it. There you go, whoops, you had it.
Yep.
There you go, see? You got the
Oh,
sliver,
heaven's
you
sake.
got that sliver, so we can go.
Look at that.
So yeah, I looked at it, blew it up, I go, is that really real? And it shows up on the maps,
Must have been a survey error years ago when it
Yeah.
got recorded.
Right.
which means we can walk this without crossing any private land.
Who owns the
little
triangle?
Sliver is
The
part
little
of this
sliver,
property?
this
We
is
do.
part of 40 Caves.
Yeah.
We own
And
the-
this is
the
the
white
property we're
trees.
talking
The
about.
white
Oh,
triangle.
oh, the Dobek.
Dobecks.
But is that also landlocked, or is it?
No.
No.
Those
They
two-
go all the way
those
out
two
to
are
Lancaster.
connected.
No, but
No, theirs is
any,
landlocked. It is.
well, any access from Lancaster Road, other than where the house is now, any access to the backland has to cross the railroad tracks.
Right.
So,
They have railroad tracks going through their property.
let me see if I can get that to close, so I can get that bigger, there we go.
Well, she
Okay,
can-
so here's kind of the whole area. This is Lancaster
Yep.
Road, this is your little piece that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
So this is all 40 Caves,
Yeah.
and this is the property that we're talking about.
They cross
This one
now with
right
a
here.
tractor and everything.
And this,
They have right to
this
cross.
and this are both the Dombecks?
This, Dobek.
Dobek.
This
That,
goes, because this is the railroad tracks,
ah.
right
She
here.
has right to cross. She has the right to cross.
Right, but,
Yes, she drives tractors, trucks over all the time. They have a pond
It's
back
a
there.
farm crossing.
Yep.
yeah. But in order, and you can just see the, on the topo map, it's pretty high here, and it slopes down fairly
Yeah, there's a
substantially
steep
to all wetlands.
Huh.
It's nice hiking through there too.
It was beautiful.
She told you that my earlier offer was an insult, didn't she?
Yeah,
What was it,
She said that this
35?
time too?
30. You're off. Yeah. Which
Right.
I'm not thinking it's that unfair.
Did she reiterated that to you in your recent conversation?
Not in recent. I haven't talked money with her at all. I'm told I'd bring it up to this commission and let them just iron it out or work it out, whatever they want to do.
So,
But yeah, I think my discussion with her mostly has been by text. I have talked to her on the phone about 4 times. It sounds like they want to move on it. So.
you think the 30 was reasonable?
I do.
I do.
I
I'm
do
sorry, I
for-
really do. I mean,
But in the assessor's map, what was it? What are they assessing at, the tax for
I
that
gotta go look
lot?
that up.
Because then that would help too, because I know a lot of land around here, it's landlocked, it's assessed really low.
Mm-hmm.
It's really low. So, I don't know.
It's over $1,000 an acre. That's roughly, those are old days prices we've been picking up. We haven't picked up much land for $1,000 an acre lately, but this piece is
Yeah,
landlocked.
we picked up, God.
We picked up a
50
lot.
acres or more for about 1,000. The first
Yeah,
year was just about $1,000 an acre.
yeah,
Acres,
that's right.
Pieces
It's
and
about the
pieces.
average price we're going. We're a little over this, but not much, but, so I don't know. I just,
Is that something I could get on the website?
Yeah, on the assessors, you can look at the lots, and it'll tell you what
We have
The
a lot
assessed
number on it?
value is, or
it is.
or
but
what the
assessed
tax
value-
is?
Yeah.
the value should tell you the whole
Do you have
thing.
property
Why don't you
values?
approach it this way? Let Steve go and talk with her and, you know, I'm sure you, I mean, I like your attitude, so.
I've turned around, I kind of hinted, and she kind of says, make an offer. I said, what do you think it's worth? Because I didn't want to insult her. I said, look, I don't want to insult you again. It's-
Yeah, but she's gonna come back with twice that, then you
Well, I
gotta
said,
knock it
then I
down.
said, we're not interested.
Right, I mean, there.
Not a problem.
There's only so much we can pay for it,
What's the address?
How
With
much-
our-
Why do you say that?
because we only have so much money.
Oh, right.
Details.
I mean, I could,
And to be honest, I don't know that it will
Yeah.
be, the only person who would benefit from would be the abutter.
Yeah. And now they
And even then, all they really would do is they would be paying the taxes on it instead of,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, I mean, I'd go with 15 an acre, and the reason is, because the ones I messed up on and hadn't bought in the past and dubbed around and lost, I feel worse about that than I do feeling good about the ones I feel I did put condo in.
So you're suggesting 45?
15, yeah.
Okay.
It was 30, 40, let me know, I'm saying, it was 30 my offer,
Your offer
right?
was 30, yes.
Go 40.
well, we should vote.
Oh, yeah, we all agree. We're just talking,
Yep.
Can we get some information? I think, the assessor's valuation is a
Valid.
good idea.
Yeah.
I think we just need to.
But if the
something to base
butters were
this
to
on.
buy it, then we, it would break up our land. So I think it is worth something to us.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And,
I
yeah,
agree.
So, and it ties up to that. Even though we are one abutter, there's other people in there who could grab it.
right.
But you think the above
Oh,
would be
but-
for us picking it up, because then they know, you know what I mean?
Right, we
So
actually
maybe-
abutted on both sides.
Yes, but.
That little
okay.
sliver, and then we got the top, the little hat-shaped
Correct.
piece at town meeting.
Right. So the only one that
as
really,
tax
the
title.
only one that really would benefit from is Dolbeck.
I can see the abutter wanting to pick that up,
I do too, though.
you know?
And for that short money, I do see that.
You talking about the farm picking it
Yeah,
up?
yeah. They, actually, it was very nice. We walked through there. See, they used to, from us, used to have a corn patch on our land under agreement, and then that ended. They have moved the corn patch onto their land, so we did go through that. and
Yeah, we've only been meaning to check that for 2 or 3 years, so.
So, yeah. But I could see them picking that up, so. And there are trails through there, so.
Yeah, someone's definitely still
Using it.
There were 2 deer stands
Out there, yeah.
out there.
I waved to the camera on the tree.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Did
yeah.
do that too.
Yeah.
That's Clinton people. I mean, we're basically protecting this for the town of Clinton is what we're doing.
Actually, it was a maze. When we parked at that Buffton Farm development,
Yeah.
I mean, I went, we couldn't find a really place to park except for a private park spot, so we parked by the dumpster. And I said, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go knock. I saw a garage door open, so I knocked on his door. He came down.
Yeah.
He's got this in his backyard. He says, I don't even know what's there. He says, I see a map. So we showed it.
Right, there was a trail
Yeah.
I
that
just wanna-
went into the woods from next to the dumpster, so someone's
Somebody's
using
using
it.
it. Because they actually clean the trail with some down branches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There's somebody out there using it. But I know probably
it would
Dolbeck's
almost
using it
be
too. The kids,
worth
they ride
living
back there.
in a condo in Clinton to be that close to that, though. It was beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Just beautiful up in
land.
there.
Yeah. Nice pass, everything. So, yeah.
45 might be it. I mean, we'd kick ourselves if we ever lost it, you know. That's a 50% increase, and it's still low money, small money for land. I'd buy it
Are you
personally if I
finding-
lived near there.
We needed an address, and I also had to download some silver or something.
Silverlight, did it
I
download
didn't,
for you?
no.
Yes, it didn't download for me either.
Okay.
It's a pretty bad GIS mapping system.
What, this town's? Yeah. Oh, yeah, compared to others. Yeah, we're way behind.
What do you think?
Well, I would enjoy knowing what the assessed value is, but we don't
That
seem
won't-
to be.
That won't make any difference.
That's
It's what
usually
she
lower
thinks
than
it
what it's
is and
worth.
what we
Right.
think it is, you know?
Yeah, it'd be nice to know.
Okay,
but-
so what is it worth to us? Okay,
That's right.
with the money that we have, with our other
Right.
goals and objectives, what is it worth to us?
Right, so what is our balance in the open space?
I don't know, I can't read June's numbers here to tie into, but.
Okay.
That being said,
Well, that's a good that's a good way of putting it, Carol.
Yeah.
minus the 8,000 we have to go in, so we're down to like 260.
Of which 130 is promised for the Wendler property.
So we're down to 130. But again, what's going back in here? What are our other plans?
Right, well, we are, I
and
mean, we have the reimbursement of 80% of the 8,000 coming from the state.
the 8,000 we just paid?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. We had to pay it first to then get reimbursed. So that's, what, 60, I think it's like 6,700 or 6,400 or something. But still, I mean, we have $130,000
In our fund after Wendler?
But I mean, is this,
Well, somebody
is this
throw a
the pri-
figure out there and let's move on to something else.
Yeah.
Well, is this the priority purchase? I mean, I guess I don't understand where we're going. Like, what if something else comes up?
Right.
I mean,
But you don't want to lose this unless you know something's coming up.
That's right. I mean,
Okay,
the
so
bird in
what's
the
our- what's
hand,
our-
you know?
Right.
what's our min and our max?
She may just turn right around and go to the neighbor after this. I
She
don't
may.
know. Yeah.
Right.
If you,
This was probably
Is
an
she
easy
a
way out.
reasonable person to deal with? I mean, you know,
I think she's probably the power attorney for her mom, because I know her mom's getting old and her father's long gone.
I mean, how important is conservation?
She lives in
to them?
Connecticut. She lives in Connecticut, so she doesn't care. She doesn't even understand why her mom even bought this piece of property.
Okay.
So,
Well, if we can appeal to her.
I mean,
her-
my feeling is if you go in with anything less and she balks and somebody else hears about it, and we probably should have been in a executive session, but nevertheless,
That's why I
if we
suggested
lost it, we'd kick ourselves, I'm telling you, I think.
I think
All
that's
right,
a
do you want to
beautiful.
stop discussing now and go into executive session?
Yeah, there's no point, we're almost done. All our,
Mhm.
all our laundry's on the line.
Well, the numbers aren't.
Well, do we want to go into executive session
just
for
do it.
the
We
rest
can't
of
allow
it?
We'll do it at
posting
the
it
end. We'll
first,
do it at the
can we?
end.
We can just do it at
Do it
the
at the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it that way, all right,
Okay.
just keep quiet about it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're just going to table this for now.
We're going to table it till later. Yep.
Okay. And is everybody here now? Hey, Matt? All right. So moving on, we're ready early, so.
This way, that way.
I'm gonna move this. I'm assuming you guys have big.
We got enough there? One more.
One more.
All right.
One more. There we go.
Thank you very much.
We won't make a stand.
Here, why don't you take the middle seat today?
How we doing?
All right. Oops, sorry. Well, thank you everyone for, again, having us here tonight. Just because I think there's a new face potentially. This is Caitlin King. She represents
Hi.
NRP Group.
How are you?
With a C or a K?
Kaitlyn.
And Matt?
Senny. Nice to see you all again. And I'm Eric,
S-E-N-I-E.
E-R-I-K. Last name Vangsness, V-A-N-G-S-N-E-S-S, and I'm with WDA Design. So the purpose of us coming in tonight is we have, over the last couple of months, began to look at a kind of a schematic design for a nature trail and canoe launch that's going to connect the new apartments at River Bridge into the conservation land and out to a part of the Assabet River that we thought would be conducive to people launching kayaks and having some access to the water. So what we did was we kind of all met together, we walked the site, kind of picked out some areas. The first time we went out there and we picked the areas, the river was high, and so we went back in the late spring, looked at it once the river had dropped, and it turned out a couple of those areas weren't really conducive, that it was more overgrowth at that point, vegetation, and you didn't really have the access to the water that you might have been led to believe. So then we moved further downstream, and we found what we thought is a nice location. The current isn't heavy in that location, and so we put together a design that we wanted to just come in tonight and introduce to the commission. And this is intended to be an informal discussion. We're not asking the commission for, any decisions or anything like that. We just kind of wanted to get your feedback, possibly some guidance, maybe to talk with you all about what you anticipate the permitting is going to be for something like this, and just to kind of give us a little bit of guidance moving forward on it.
All right, what do you have?
All right, so what I'll do is I'm going to try, my hope and my goal is to kind of go through one of these and potentially not have to come back to it, but that doesn't always happen. So just kind of give you guys some context. So this is the existing Rotary. This is the daycare facility here, and here's the fire pond. And there's an intermittent stream that flows out to to Northbrook, and then the Assabet River here. So the apartments project would be, this is one lot right here. This is the 10A, and then this is lot 11A, and then this is conservation, and that's conservation. And you can see the water course through here. Here's that bend in the Assabet. There's a little pinch point there existing today. And so what we're looking at is, and I brought just for context, I tried to bring some smaller plans so that we can look at them without taking up the entire table, and feel free to pass this around. But this is the current apartments layout. So on the property, if this is the daycare and this is the daycare, this is kind of how we would be looking at it. So the idea is, here's River Road West, and it comes around here. Here's the Rotary, and there's going to be a dog park and a garage building here and some parking spaces here. And the idea is to bring a trail from this area here out into the conservation land, bring it down here to take advantage of this historic crossing. There's an existing culvert there and an old farm crossing there, and to bring people out along the edge of the field out to a canoe launch area out in this general vicinity. So this is the current layout, and just kind of wanted to give you all some context as to what the intended layout would be. So I'll leave this just in case. I'll put this out on the table in case anybody has questions.
That trail distance is what? You want to carry a canoe that far for somebody, or?
Well, we have a couple ideas for that. And again, they're just preliminary ideas, but I'll show you.
Is that curb cut across the street right there, is that going up to Boundless Adventures?
I want to say
Or is
Boundless
it a
Adventures
little
is over
further
here,
down?
a little
Yeah.
further
Okay.
down.
That's
yeah.
the farm.
Yeah.
That's the Tyler farm.
Oh, right.
So if we could, so what I'll do is now I'll zero into this box here, and what we've done, we'll just leave that down, and we can always bring it back up if we need to. So the first thing that we did was, when we walked the site, we took some photographs. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slide this over. Oh yeah. Slide this over so you can see. So photos, the photos marked as one on here. They look, in this case, they're looking back towards the daycare, so that would be B. And in this case, in A, they're looking down towards that historic crossing there. Photo 2, which you can see, looks right over. That's what the existing crossing looks like today. Now, these were taken earlier in the spring, but what we'd like to illustrate is there's always been sort of a maintained mown path in this area, and that's gone over the crossing, then along the edge of the meadow. This is more recent. This is more late spring, once everything grew in. And what this is this, oh, actually I skipped one here. So this is photo 3, which is kind of along that edge of the field, and you can see kind of the riverfront vegetation there, and then this existing mown path. And then this is the location that at least we as a project team, us, Riverbridge and NRP, decided was a good place. And I just kind of want to zoom into, this is a little bit, because this is a little bit overgrown here, but these photographs show when the river was high, what that condition looked like. And other than some, there's some multiflora rose and there's some taller meadow grasses and sedges and things like that. But other than that, it seemed like a relatively gentle slope down to the riverbank. And it was sort of framed by some, you can see in here, it was framed by some existing shrubs and some existing trees. It had a nice view shed out. So we just all kind of collectively thought, this might be a really nice place.
It's the only place possible to have the canoe, a launch at that point. I used to cross that with a hay wagon and 2 horses. We used to mow this over here and harvest that. And we had a team of horses, and I used to cross the river there and go up and over. Where this tree is, there's abutments right there, and there was a telephone poles across for a bridge, the remainder of it, when I was a kid, but got rid of that, and then we just drive right across the river.
No
back
kidding.
and forth. So it's a ford that lends itself to this. North Brook, it's not very good any way to get into it here. And down here, the banks drop off on both sides, and that's the only possible place you could put it.
Walter, come see me more often. We could have saved me a few meetings.
Well, we in fairness, we looked at that. We sort of looked off the backside of the, we looked off the backside of the detention ponds, and when the water was seasonably high, it's a little bit of a false positive, because when it's seasonably high, it looks like there are multiple places where you could kind of just, clear a way in there and get access to the water. The issue is once the water drops, then you're in a field of these wetland grasses, and it would be
And it's a drop-off bank along there too. Yeah.
And we didn't want people putting kayaks in the water where there was a healthy current if we could avoid it. At the bottom here,
That's
there's
fun
a
to watch. I'd like it.
not to go kayaking with
What
you.
I'm interested in is what is the trail going to look like?
Sure.
You're not
Right.
talking on driving vehicles.
And the
down
launch.
there or anything.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Okay, so this was the existing photograph. So this is, so I will come back to this.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is what we came up with. So I showed you on the development plan. Here's the dog park here. Now, as we were talking with NRP Group, NRP would like to create a little bit more of a formal trail on their property. So that would be just on lot 11A from the parking lots and then extending down. This is the property line where on this side is the conservation land, and there's 2 lots. There's 13A and there's 14. Both are conservation land. So what we started with was we looked through the United States Access Board regulations, and they have different regulations for trail slopes and how long they are and whatnot. And in effect, what we're looking at is probably a stone dust trail, compacted stone dust trail that's about 6 feet wide. We like the 6 foot wide simply because at that dimension, 2 wheelchairs could pass one another if necessary. And we wanted to access down here. And then at the end, typically you want to have some type of a turnaround in case somebody was to go down there, get to the end of the more formal trail, realize maybe the lawn wasn't traversable, they could turn around and come back. So it's important to at least have a turnaround, especially on a trail which is fairly long.
How long is that distance?
This, I want to say,
Well,
looks
if
like it's
this circle is 12 feet, is it to
Yeah.
scale?
Well, that's 100 feet.
So this is about 170 feet
800
here,
something.
and then this is another 700 feet. So it's almost 900 feet long by the time it's all said and done. So so the idea was to have a stone dust trail leading to here. Once you get onto the conservation land, there's a couple things we were really sensitive. We wanted to make the top of this trail a little bit steeper so that we didn't have to fill within the 200-foot riverfront. So we brought that down a little bit steeper and then level it out. And then the idea was as we get closer and closer to the resource areas and out into this backland area is to convert the trail from stone dust to just a mown path, and it could be mowed down short so that it's, you know, you're not bushwhacking through there, but it like in the photographs that we showed you. And that would basically extend across. It would minimize, you know, the potential for erosion close by. And then you get to this crossing that's mown today. We would keep it that way, and then just basically follow that existing trail at the edge of the meadow out to a canoe launch.
Well, it kind of drops off. Is there any remnants of there used to be a 4-strand barbed wire fence going all the way along here, and there was a gate in it here. Is any posts, did you notice anything?
I didn't.
Well, it's kind of a quick drop off in topography, so if you stayed along the top of the slope, which right about here, that would, I mean, you can't drop over the slope anyway. You get right down into the brush and get into the wetland area.
And the idea would be that no mature vegetation along this edge would be removed. In fact, actually, before you get to the edge of the meadow, it, like you said, it starts to drop off, so we'd want to stay a little bit uphill of that and more just kind of traverse that, and we don't want the trail to be, you know, on the side of a slope. And it's variable in here. So as we come out to the end here, one idea would be, and we're still thinking about it, would be, could there potentially be and I brought a photograph of one, like a very low impact wood kayak storage rack. Potentially they could be locked to it, and we've got to iron out the details there, but that would at least maybe cure some of the concern of people having to walk it, you know, almost 900
So if residents had kayaks, they could store them there?
Potentially.
Okay.
Or we could provide rollers for them to roll it, right? And then roll it back.
So that was,
Well, at this point, I'm still launching behind DSW. That's a long drag.
what we did was then we looked at what's happening with the grades in here. And so the idea was we wanted to take advantage of this kind of natural opening between the kind of the shrubs and trees and more mature vegetation here. We wanted to take advantage of that opening and kind of avoid this kind of scour in the bank there, which is represented here on the survey. We did go out and we surveyed it, so these are real grades. We had Brian Waterman, who's our wetland specialist, go back out and flag the wetlands along this boundary, just because they're so that they could be updated. And what we wanted to do was create a canoe launch that was natural materials, that would get people from this higher area down at least to the riverbank. There's no floating or permanent structures being proposed into the river, into the water course, so we don't think a Chapter 91 filing would be necessary. All we're looking at is getting people to the bank and providing, you know, kind of a landing at the bank that's reasonable, that people could, you know, put in. This, when we went back out and surveyed, the drop here from the bank down into the water was about 2 feet, and we thought that was pretty reasonable. It's going to be less during the times where seasonal water's high, and I guess we haven't been out there again, but I suppose under really dry circumstances it could be a little bit lower, but it's going to vary. But the thought for the materials would be some type of a rounded river stone. When we talked with NRP and Riverbridge, one of the concerns that came up is if this was just to be mown, number one, it wouldn't be very noticeable to people who have just moved here. It wouldn't necessarily look the part of a true amenity. So they wanted to, the team wanted to formalize the look of this, again, with natural materials. And I think the other concern was, since this does slope down to the river, depending on the level of use, you don't want a situation where the existing grasses get worn out, it becomes muddy, it becomes rutted. Now you got sediment potentially getting into the river. So we wanted to balance all that.
Well, you know, I belong to National River Watershed Association, a number of watershed associations, do a lot of canoeing. I never saw one this extravagant. I remember that as being, like I said, I could drive a loaded hay wagon with a team of horses without a tractor down or right up the other side. It's good and solid base gravel. If you mow it, I mean, believe me, you're not going to get swamped with kayakers down there. You might get 2 a week, but just mow it down there, and if you got mowing it, you might find out where that gravel is. I don't know if you're in the right location, but there's only one place. I assume it has to be. The tree is right here. Let me see. The aspect comes in. The old tree is right here. And yeah, this is the crossing where you could cross and drive up on the other side with a wagon. I wouldn't want to see the earth move there or anything else. Just try it first and see what happens. Then if you get into a muddy area, which you won't, come back and see us. That would be my recommendation. I like your idea of mowing this, as long as you're not going to, you know.
I think the
Keep
hope
it
is
natural.
to again create a, I guess, a more formalized amenity that would be marketable to the tenants at the apartments. And also, you know, I think the discussion has always been that this was an amenity that the greater town at some point in the future could take advantage of. It wouldn't be exclusive to the apartments, at least not the canoe launch. So the idea was that, you know, maybe we take some timber edging. We have this, you know, kind of a rounded river rock, you know, some type of a native rounded river rock. It'd be good because if you put a canoe down, it's be less likely to scratch the canoe than maybe a jagged stone. And then the idea was...
You done any canoeing?
I've only done ocean kayaking.
Yeah.
I haven't done river kayaking.
You know, I mean, I can see people, developers go, well, let's make this formal looking artificial launching there, but the people that are going to kayak aren't going to be worried about round stones and wooden sides. It would just keep it as natural and unintrusive as possible. That would be my feeling.
But that's not what they're trying to accomplish, Walter. They want something else for the residents, okay? And the townspeople can also take advantage of. And, you know, I get it.
What does the one now behind DSW look like?
If you can hack your way through the Bittersweet.
I brought some photographs.
It's just some granite stairs. And then right at the river's edge, it is pretty mucky.
There you go.
Yep.
It's a vision that won't make any difference. Any resident there that wants to go kayaking, put a couple of seats, benches to sit on over by the tree, put a bench there or something, and anybody's going to carry their kayak down
It
there.
actually might be a nice idea.
What?
That might be a nice idea as a way to demarc here is
Yeah.
where you do this without it being quite as...
Yeah, they were gonna put a rack there.
Yeah, if you're going to put a rack up, but also...
You can also watch your granddaughter's kayak.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just sit on,
exactly,
you know,
right.
your
To have,
dad
sure.
goes and mom watches, whatever,
Yeah,
vice versa. I can see a scenario where they want to know where they are 20 minutes later.
yep.
Well, just to finish the thought, that had been the idea for kind of the landing areas, and then just again to ease that grade transition, we were thinking of maybe taking some like used granite curb, something like that. They usually come in 6-foot sections. You could put a couple of them together. You have a nice 12-foot wide, kind of a little bit of a stair step way of getting down to the river. That's a little bit softer, and and would allow, again, it's native materials and allow people to just kind of step down. We put together this was kind of our thought process, this is kind of a section from the top, and then you'd have a couple of steps to like a middle landing, and then a couple more steps, and this would get you down, and then the bank was here. This is taking that photograph that we showed you in the beginning, that existing condition photograph, and just showing what, kind of this step landing might look like. Again, kind of the use of some materials, more natural materials, potentially for a rack. This is the idea of a timber edging. If if it was proposed and the commission wanted like a cedar or something like that in lieu of, let's say, pressure treated or something like that, that obviously those materials could be discussed. But that was kind of at least that was the schematic design to date, was just.
So, as a kayaker, I don't know that the stone is necessary and or beneficial. I personally wouldn't be opposed to a couple of granite steps, just because it does make it a little bit easier
Go and look
when
at
you're
the
dragging.
site. Go and look at the site,
Okay.
please.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go
Again,
with you.
I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying, you know,
Well, you
that
don't-
if they
you
wanted
don't
something
need
a
anything.
little more formal,
If they put that in
Maybe
there
it-
without any alteration of that, it'd probably be one of the best kayak launches on the Assabet River. It's just
the one at DSW is decent.
kind of, huh?
This one's decent. I use it.
Where's that?
So this is DSW. Best Buy's right here. EMS is in this
Oh, yeah,
building.
yeah.
Hockey.
Well,
I
that's
heard that
a
was
little
hard to
bit
get
more
to.
rustic and
Yeah.
it looks a little
Yeah,
more
it
rustic
will.
than putting this in
Get
here.
stuff out of the way.
Well, like I said, once you hack your way through the bittersweet.
That was the,
Yeah.
what I'd heard.
Well, the top of that is, you gotta watch your step, because it's like those, you're sort of,
They're a little rocky, yeah. But kayakers are hardy people.
Yeah.
You know, where.
Rocks in the water. and-
Yeah, exactly.
and
I
we
mean,
did talk with Priscilla Ryder about how this kind of came to be, because it's actually.
is this Marlboro technically?
No, it's Berlin.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's
so
accessed through Marlboro.
I'm just wondering why they were
Oh,
talking
the
about
old one you're
Priscilla.
talking about?
Yeah, this-
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Marlboro. Sorry, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about your proposal here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
why would you have
This
a
is
rack?
far more informal and looks normal
leave them
part of
there.
the landscape than,
So you don't have to drag
You
them
know.
back and forth and store
Yeah,
them.
well, exactly, and that's what I'm
That's what
saying,
happens
is
to
if
bikes
they
and no
wanted
one
something
knows
to
how to get
kind of
somewhere
define
there
it,
for
a
you.
couple of steps like this, I would be okay with.
We have to mow it, we have to take care of it. There's garbage there.
So are you saying that, you know, maybe the commission would be more open to a situation where you had, let's say, some granite steps, but maybe the natural, you know.
Yeah, something a little bit more looking like this.
Okay.
Just a couple, you know, because if for some reason it did get heavily used, it would eventually get muddy leading down, especially, you know, if the slope is here, you're dragging your kayak down, so there's gonna be V channels, you know, and then if you're stepping down in like this, this is gonna get matted, you know, this is really where my main concern would be. So you're standing here, you put your kayak in the water. How far is this? Generally, you don't want to stand in the water if you don't have to. You want to go directly in so you don't get your feet wet. So that would be my concern there, is what's going to happen there at the lip. Is it going to be grass that people are, you know, that the bank's going to get pushed in?
Well, that was actually one of the thoughts. So if we were to do more of a stone, we were thinking, at least along the riverfront there, you wouldn't tend to get as much of that settling, and the idea would be people could maybe sit on the bank and
Maybe,
there's
yeah.
actually a bank there, because it was just like a road right across there. It must have scoured out in the past 60 years.
No, Walter, it couldn't be that long.
No, I mean, it looks, like I said, when we went out and surveyed, it was about a 2-foot height bank. It was
Right.
definitely less than that earlier in the summer. It was, you could see from those photographs that it was, you know,
Yep.
this was.
I mean, if you want, I can grab my kayak and come down and we can kind of get an idea of what's really involved of getting in the river right there. Yeah,
You call me, I'll come.
all right, get a kayak?
No, I'll come watch you.
Oh,
But
hey.
I'm getting so close to retiring up here, you know, it may become my hobby.
There you go.
So,
He can pick
as
us
far
up
as I'm
down in-
concerned, if the trail, if they mowed a trail down through there, as far as I'm concerned, they wouldn't have to come to us. only when they start excavating. And on the other end, is it within the 200 foot of the river where you wanted the stone dust excavate, put stone dust in?
No, I think they were stopping.
Where is that?
That other piece of
Let's take a look at it.
property.
Yeah, they were stopping kind of at the property line, I think.
The stone dust would go within 200 feet. That's historically altered, but one of the other things that we did want to talk to you, and maybe this is the time to do it. There are numerous resource areas out here that we've identified, and we've counted 5. 4 of them are Conservation Commission jurisdiction, but there's actually one that's it affects the flood insurance program, so it's actually administered in Berlin through the building inspector's office, which is the regulatory floodway. So we have the...
For this project?
For this project. Okay. We've got the resource areas that are under the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction are the 200-foot riverfront, 100-foot riverfront, the bordering land subject to flooding, and then we have the river bank, and then we have the vegetated wetlands along the river. But there's also a regulatory floodway that basically follows this line here, and then when it gets to about here, the floodway bumps out. So this canoe launch would be located in the floodway. And the federal regulations are very strict about what can and cannot be done in the floodway. And basically what they say is there's no grading allowed. Grading is considered development. Now, what the federal government has provided local communities with is basically the flood insurance program requirements and administration requirements. And in that they talk about what can and cannot be done in the floodway. But what they also do is there's a provision in those regulations, which I brought with me here. And this is basically it's a guidance document. For lack of a better term, it's a guidance document. But basically what it allows is that, and again, this would be through the building inspector's office technically, but it allows municipalities to deem certain projects to be minor. And this came up on the compensatory flood storage down on the southern end of the property before. And it's a situation here where, you know, we want to get a design that the Conservation Commission can be on board with, but what we also really would hope is at some point, you know, the Conservation Commission can assist us in bringing whatever this ends up being, if it involves any displacement of dirt, whether it to be, you know, putting stepstones in or whatever the case might be, that the Conservation Commission could basically be a supporting voice when we meet with the building inspector, because a lot of times these types of situations don't come up very often. You know, a lot of times the people in the town that are responsible for it don't have a good handle, and what ends up happening there is then it goes to FEMA and that begins the bureaucracy. So the hope is that, you know, if we can come to something that everybody is comfortable with in terms of the design of the canoe launch, if there is any grading that maybe, you know, us along with the commission could have a meeting at some point with the building inspector and see if this could be considered a minor project. So there's a lot of different resource areas, and we certainly want to kind of get your sense as to what you think the permitting process might be for this.
Can you review the timeline with them?
Well, I think that's, Caitlin, do you want to speak to the kind of the timeline when you guys were looking to, you know, have this permitted and construct this based on how the project's being built right now? And
Sure. So at this time, construction is slated to turn over initial units early next year.
early, like
Early.
January, like?
No, the following year, I'm sorry.
Okay. I was
Not
gonna say, wow.
So again, we wouldn't, I mean, our residents probably would not be using this until the spring.
This spring.
This spring.
Spring
Yes.
of 20.
Yes.
It's
I'm
coming.
sorry, so,
This spring,
yes.
right now, the next spring.
Next
Okay,
spring.
Next spring.
next spring.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't an 18-month ask. They'll be, according to what they gave me,
Yeah.
we'll have 100 people sleeping there next April.
Hopefully. That's the plan.
A lot.
So to give you a little more context as well, in addition to what Eric has told you, in that corner up there, as we mentioned, this is going to be a town amenity that we would like to invite the town to come and be able to park and, use the path and access the river. There is a handicap spot, as you can see, right here. And then our plan is to have the following 3 spots be public parking, which will have signed properly for people to come and be able to park their cars and use the path and the trail. The garage directly to the right of those parking spots is what we are, yes, it's the last garage there. We're calling it the gear garage. And that is something where, because we're marketing this as an amenity to our residents, it's something that none of the other communities in this area have. We are purchasing kayaks for use of our residents. We're purchasing mountain bikes for the residents to use, just to encourage people to get out and use the conservation land that surrounds this community and use what the town has to offer here, which is great, but we want to return the favor and have people come use it as well.
Good old Berlin Conservation Land's a big draw for developers, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Big sale, selling
Unlike
point.
anything else.
They love it.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Bring them in.
So, on the plan, I know this might sound stupid, but would there be trash receptacles? If they're gonna have a lot of people down by the
Of course
water,
they
they
would.
would have to have trash, right? That would be in the plan, a receptacle or
Pack in,
something?
pack out.
And we see,
Carry and carry out.
No trash barrels.
I think that would defer to,
Yeah.
or at the beginning of the trail? I'm just
Maybe
worried that-
here,
Yeah.
but certainly not down there.
Certainly not there,
Right.
but we maintain it now. I mean, the bottom line is, when we built the hotel, some of the stuff ended up over there.
Sure.
One day I personally did.
Yeah.
But we did
Yeah.
it 3 times. and-
But you're also encouraging people to dump household trash.
I'm saying when it fell on the ground, somebody
have-
left something behind.
Yeah.
Riverbridge has to step up.
Yeah.
Just like any of the other 100 acres.
Right.
It's our,
Yep. But it's fairly common practice for something like this for it to be pack in, pack out. That's,
and I'm sure that there will be, for the safety of everyone, some rules and regulations that we have posted as well, so that can be one of them.
right.
Itemizing
Yep.
the trash.
You're an NRP representative?
Yes.
Matt said he just shows up for these things.
Yeah. He's just bored. You.
I'm pretty vested in this one.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a, so in addition to the resource areas, there's an outstanding order of conditions. And it's interesting because other than the stormwater basins, there wasn't really a lot of work proposed on, what was 13 when the order was issued. Now it's lot 13A when 14 was cut off. So I don't have a good sense. I'd certainly welcome your input on this. I'm not sure how, if it needed to be an amended order, or how the commission, how you would approach this, given that there's already one order out, on the project as a whole. There really wasn't ever any work other than the basins here, and then I don't think there was any work on what's now lot 14. That was so far over, so there really...
Right, there's always been talk about this happening, but it was never in any set of plans, so there was no conditions.
Well, if you mow a path down there and put a seat there and let them launch naturally, doesn't need to be any amendment.
Right. Right.
Just
So
go
I
do
get
it.
right. So I guess
If you want to start altering it, that's a different story.
Less alteration, the less permitting. a very
Only because I'm-
informal town.
Yeah, right.
And so we would
keep it that way.
Yeah, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Because another thing I'll mention, if there's a dog park there, then people with their dogs, will they be allowed to go down there? You would see a lot of traffic. I would think with dog people, their dogs wanting to swim in the water, is that something else you consider that could probably potentially happen?
Yeah.
I could just foresee that. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
Well, we're worrying about trails and kayaks right now.
I know.
Yep.
It's a good question, all questions. That's why we're here. I mean, we're gonna, we can't think of everything, believe me, we try.
Keep it simple, and I don't see a problem. I can see how you want to, I can see you want to put out a brochure when you're selling your house. Put this on there, help sell them, oh, let's put this extravagant, it's a sales thing. It isn't really a practical, useful thing, and I speak as a long-time canoeer. And canoed the rivers of northern Ontario, and you never have anything like this. It's just, we bought, the town of Berlin bought 10 acres or 12 acres or what it is to preserve that view down there for its naturalness and its beauty, where the North Brook gets into the Assabet River. It's beautiful land, a lot of history there. You know, if you want to put a simple thing down there and go kayak and have at it. But, I mean, that's just my feeling. We'd have to have a notice of intent and everything else, I think, if they really started altering and doing stuff.
Right, so this was informational.
Yep.
Do you feel like you have some information?
We do. I think the question would be, I guess, putting the floodway aside for a second, in terms of, you know, if there was, you know, some type of stones or something like that set in, do you feel that would warrant a notice of intent, or do you think that would that just be an RDA? What
Yeah,
do you...
I don't know that we could really answer that without really seeing something,
sure.
but you know, again, the less alteration, the less process would have to happen. I mean, this right here, something like this would certainly be the biggest project.
You can still advertise that there's a kayak launch near there.
Yep. Just show some people getting in.
Yeah.
Something.
We're here.
We could show you
Yeah.
tipping
Yep.
over as you get in.
You start by saying,
Yeah.
I knew somewhere else who did something like this.
These are plastic or wood?
Try to do a little bit better.
The rack was wood.
And there you go.
Yeah, we didn't want to propose any. Non-natural materials this close to the river.
Would you go make 2 copies of those and we can give one to Matt while he's here? That's the certificate of compliance for across the street.
I'm gonna ask you about that.
Yep.
All right. You guys have any other questions on it?
Nope, I kind of agree with what they said, just keep it simple.
We hear you. We'll,
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll get back.
I would carry it so far. I mean, this is my view. Of course, I got a lot of invested in this area. It means a lot to me, and I've seen it. But, you know, I don't want to look down across here at that beautiful area and see different blue, orange, green kayaks on a rack down in that natural area. Put the rack up there, and then I can't imagine anybody that wants a kayak and get out and get some exercise can't carry a kayak 800 feet or 700 feet. You know, you could put the rack up here where it isn't. Don't interfere with this view and spoil it any more than what has
I
happened.
like whoever had the idea of the wheel.
Yeah.
There's got to be
Yeah.
a wagon that carries these things.
Oh, there are.
Yeah, put 3 of them in the garage.
Yep, and they're actually,
You know,
they have ones that are just like 2 wheels and a platform to just grab the other end of the kayak and you just drag it. Yeah.
Yeah, we could put those in the garage.
Yep, they're very small, very,
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoever had said that, I had never thought about it. That makes so much sense.
yeah,
That's common
Yeah,
today.
You got mom, dad, and junior.
right.
Somebody needs to pull.
Yes.
You could get a horse and a cart and take it down there too.
No worries.
Sorry, no horses. I don't even want, Holly, actually, I don't even want dogs, because dogs poop all over there too. Yeah, no horses, no dogs. But that's a harder one.
Right.
Okay.
Get inundated with dogs that get warm when you're around there.
No, it depends on the time of day you go.
I know a few women who won't walk it.
Okay, so you guys get the original, correct? You guys get the original and I get a copy?
Surprise or anything else, right?
Something for me, ma'am.
Yes.
Are you
That
taking
is
this
the-
on your purview?
This has to, no, this has to be recorded, this
You
has
and I will
to,
do that in the driveway.
no,
We'll figure- I mean,
at the registry.
Yeah, you and I
Yeah.
will figure that out.
I'll give you that, and then, you need a copy of the recorded COC, right?
Correct.
Yes, okay.
Thank you for this.
Is that
Now, so-
little 11 by 17 plan floating around?
Eric, I actually had a question. In my pile of stuff, there was also this piece of paper. I don't know why I have that. It's kind of all paper clipped together.
Is that the same?
No,
What's the DP?
that's 208.
Okay. So. Oh, well, it is Riverbridge Hotel Group.
Right. So I wasn't, and that's all I had. I didn't have anything else with that DEP number on it. I didn't, so since you guys are coming in, I thought I would ask you about it. This one is 161.
Yeah, so, okay, so this must have been one of the sheets related to this must have been one of the application for the COC
For 161.
for the hotel for phase 1. Yeah. Yeah, it has to be because it's Riverbridge Hotel Group.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'll put it in my file. I just,
Okay.
I didn't know if you needed to have that.
No, if you, no, that should have just been as part of the application, but if for some reason you need another copy of the document, just let me know.
Okay.
Brian or I will get it to you in a heartbeat.
Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all very, very much. It's been a while
Thank
since Riverbridge has been in front of you all.
I know.
We appreciate everything you do for us. You guys have been great to work with. I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Can you believe it's
They moved me
crazy.
out of the trailer. I have a nice little office in the
thank
cafe.
you.
So when you're all down there, you come knock on my door and say, "Is Matt here?" Chances are I'm here. Love to buy anyone who comes by a cup of coffee to show you the finished plans on different things. Since I got down there, different board members around town found their way.
Package store, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Got it just right there.
I don't want coffee then.
We take care of a lot of 6 packs of beer and a pizza for the guy on the way home. And it's just one-stop shop.
Well, again, thank you guys very much.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will see you later. Be in touch.
Nice to see you.
See you again, yeah, see you again. I'll be down. Hey, how you doing?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Matt.
Bye, guys.
So what's in the trailer now? Anything? Trailer's empty?
The lights are on.
What's in the trailer now?
Oh, they just, I don't know.
That was a big office when I was in there last. It's actually nice in there.
Must be the company that's doing the development there,
Yeah,
building.
yeah, maybe they're using it.
All right.
Right on time.
Yep.
Stretch.
Riverbridge, oh no, plastic.
Seth?
For Plastridge?
Yep.
Plastridge.
Great.
We'll start with them.
So I'll just reintroduce myself quick. Seth Donahoe with Ducharme Dillis. And I have a letter for you guys tonight.
DONAH.
All O's. Like Donahue, but all O's.
Oh,
Send that around.
okay.
Thank you. Oh, this was what I emailed
Yeah,
earlier.
I
Yep.
hope I have enough. If not,
I just really need one for the file.
So last time we were talking about specifically the silt fence. They had not been able to find a contractor that was able to replace that, and they have now, and it looks really good. They did a lot of hard work and repaired all the damaged silt fence, backed it up with some straw wattles, and then
That's quite a crew that was in there, wasn't it? Jerry and his guys?
Yeah, yeah.
They really worked
yeah.
like old-fashioned guys.
I don't pity the job that they
Yeah,
had. They did
yeah.
a great job, a lot of hand labor.
He is.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
So the majority of the fencing was replaced where they could salvage it. They restapled it and repaired it. And like I said, they backed it up with wattles, so you can see those in the pictures. The other task that we had was some of the outlet pipes were discharging either directly onto the silt fence or over them in some places. So those were adjusted where they could be, and in the photos you can see that there's riprap at the outfalls. That was absent before. Good news is everything was flowing clean when we took a look at the site, and he did do some cleanup of the large swale that goes along the driveway too. That's going to need some more cleanup. He wasn't able to get all the silt up. It's actually going to need some rock replaced. That was outlined in our remediation report, but they did make considerable progress since last time we spoke.
Sure. Yeah, just the fact that the sand isn't bellying the silt fence and
Yeah.
Watching over it.
washing over it.
Yeah, and I mean, when you saw it, those of you that were to the site, that was probably after a year of the site sitting dormant, basically.
Right.
So for it to make it that long was good. The fencing did its job, and now it's in a place where hopefully that's not going to happen again. They're trying very hard to get somebody in place to finish out the remediation work. On our end, we had outlined several things back in June, kind of a bullet point list of things to be adjusted. The final phases of this they're moving into now, and if you guys approve for the contractors to do that, that would be loam and seed. The driveway approach, you can see it from Sawyer Hill Road. It does need to be vegetated. It does need loam on it. And then after that's done, they can move on to cleaning up the basins themselves. Our office is located at the basins. They're generally where they're supposed to be. All the structures are where they're supposed to be. They do need to supplement a lot of areas on those basins to get them to the appropriate slopes so that they'll function long-term. And those need to be vegetated as well.
Right.
Yeah, in the lower basin, there's a pinch area where there's been some erosion.
Yeah, so the lower basin particularly, that was receiving a lot of flow from the driveway, and that actually needs to be cleaned. The material needs to be removed from the bottom, and then it needs to be brought up to suitable grade again.
Right, but the berm, there's some erosion in the berm if you're looking south and to the right of the cement catchment area. That berm there is starting to narrow.
Okay.
I mean,
in general, the berms as a whole need to be fattened up.
And then vegetated.
And they're all a little bit low, so they need to bring material and bring them up to their final grade. I mean, truthfully, from a stormwater standpoint, they're pretty close to at the point where they're supposed to hold water, but there should be a little bit of a emergency give or take in that, so that needs to be put in place and to allow them to have slopes so they won't erode long term. And like you said, vegetated. So that's really the goal. With any luck, they will be able to get somebody in place. And obviously, we're getting into the time of year where vegetating those is going to be a lot easier. It's going to be easier for these seed mixes to take. So
Sure.
we've spec'd those out. So I'm happy to come back and tell you that they've made some progress.
Yes. I'm happy that I don't have to worry about this blowing out in a major storm.
Yeah.
That's-
I mean, it had it in the shape that it had been. The emergency spillways are partially shaped. As you know, there's no riprap in them. But every time I've looked at it, there's been no signs of the water actually making it over the emergency spillways. The outlet control structures were always working and doing their job.
Right.
But like I said, there is a lot of sediment in there. And this isn't a one-day job. I mean, there's
Right.
going to be people out there for a while finishing it up.
Yep.
Oh, you saw that email from Pat, didn't you? He looked at it and thought it was pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Fences up and everything.
I think with what they were working with, they get an A++ on that one. That was not an easy job any time of the year, and they had a lot of stuff growing over it, and they did a really good job getting that back in.
Oh, and it was hot out.
Very hot.
Yeah. Excellent.
So I hope to tell them that we can move ahead with the remainder of the restoration work, that this is satisfactory to date, and that they should really keep pushing on that to get it done. And is the-
Yeah,
Great.
no, good news.
Is there gonna have to be, so you folks are the engineers on, were you the original engineers?
I mean, there's been
Yeah.
several groups that have taken looks at the property over the year, but we permitted the current common driveway configuration.
You
Yeah.
did all that, so.
Yep.
And so you'll be doing the engineering on it. I mean, it's my belief that some of those catch basins, they're not wide enough. There's gonna have to be some slopes pulled back in order to loam.
There's only one catch basin in the development. There's a double up. I call it up higher, but it's actually low. You go up and then down. And then the intent of the entire driveway, there's a stone swale, and then it has defined check dams in it. Some of those need to be adjusted slightly.
Okay.
And we've looked at a couple different ways to accommodate that with the house that's occupied there as well. Now, there's a possibility
Is
that...
that occupied now?
I don't know if it's occupied. It's done. I don't know what the status of the building permit is, but we've actually looked at possibly putting a pipe in that section and just loaming and seeding, going right over it, because where they did come close is right in that area. Those homeowners may not have even known. And so there's a couple solutions, but it's all in the intent of the permit and the plan.
All right.
So I'll let them know that should move ahead, and
We're on the right track, and yep, move ahead with the remediation and
okay. And then per Mr. Garner's advice is when they're doing construction out there, we're going to try to give you weekly reports on that too. So
be great.
I know hopefully at some point they won't have to have the expense of me coming to these meetings and the reports will suffice, but I'm happy to come should the commission feel that you need something.
okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds
Well,
good.
thank you for your time.
Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks.
Now go put your other hat on.
Yeah, should I, do you guys need some time till your
Nope.
your clock's
Nope.
messed up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't moved since we've been here.
Slightly.
I can stay up here then. If
Yeah.
we go right
Yeah.
into it.
Yep.
Mr. Muldoon's here with me as well.
How you doing? Mr. Muldoon, how are you?
I'm doing well.
All right.
So for the commission, this is Bill Muldoon. He is the owner of 35 Randall Road.
Along with my wife, she likes to say she owns it too.
Yeah. I do have the signed order of conditions right here, so we'll make some copies of that and give that to you for the septic.
Okay.
And then we've got the culvert that we're, in here, you might as well make copies of these. So. Do you want me to go?
No. What do you need?
Two
Two of these.
full sets and two full sets. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so obviously we came here for a septic repair, and at that time, the commission became aware that there was an alteration, which is right here. It's at the far end of the field, and for reference, the septic repair is in this area. So it's close to those buildings. So we're removed from there. One of the items you asked us to complete was additional wetland delineation. So we're showing additional wetland flags. We've extended our original delineation that Mr. Garner reviewed, and then we moved it all the way over this way and then caught the topography up into the field as well. So they have a riprap crossing in place, and Mr. Muldoon can speak to it more than I can, but the intent was to provide access for farming equipment to maintain the fields. It's a 25-acre property, 25-plus acre property, and it's completely bisected by wetlands. So,
And I 100% thought it was legal to do it when I did it. Not aware of the laws, but and I definitely still want to do it. So if I have to do it legally some other way, whatever way it takes. But I have an agreement with Buddy Wheeler to hay the property. Last year he had trouble because it was so wet. And I just bought it, and I do intend to. I've had some people going in looking at thinning out some of the trees farther back, and the first thing that I had wanted to do was maybe make a slide down the hill for my grandkids. So I've heard rumors about people saying that it's going to be developed. There is no plans as of now. I'm not saying I would never develop it, but I did not buy this property with the intention to develop it. I don't know if you've seen the progress on the old house that was there, but it's coming along quite nicely. I intend to rent that house and keep the property in my family. I have a 15-year history. Like there's been some stuff in the town about I bought 239 Randall Road, which was the Kidder property, and that I bought this beautiful farmhouse and tore it down. I could bring 3 contractors in to tell you that that thing was full of dry rot and really wasn't salvageable. And after looking at it for 4 or 5 years, I did choose to tear it down. And then I've consequently sold that property off. Not quite yet, but for me, it's a very proud accomplishment. After 15 years, I'll have my 3 sons, or 2 sons, a daughter, and my nephew living all in that space with nine kids. So, and I can tell you I didn't make out financially at all with it. Maybe the other way a little bit, but they definitely towed their own. So with that property and with this property, I'm not a developer. I do plan to build a house for myself at some point. I live at 21 Randall Road. I've lived at Randall Road for 38 years at 2 different
How
locations.
come I never see you around town?
Because I work all the time to pay for all these properties. That's, I view it as I paid for this property. I'm going to do what I can, but I have no intention to do anything illegal, and I don't have any plans for it right now. And again, I bought it to have this piece of land. One of it, I live right next door to it, and it was totally run down and a disaster because a nice family lived in there, but over 50 years, it just got run down. And this way, I get to fix it the way I want. I own it, and it'll be in my family, and that was my intent. I do plan to go back, like I said, thin out the back, and make a slide for the kids if it doesn't cost too much money. But other than that, I don't
Buy a slide for the kids.
to slide down the hill in the winter.
Oh,
A slip and slide.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was thinking I was gonna put
Sledding.
this.
Sledding, okay.
Sledding.
A luge.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is, you're gonna do it in the woodland?
Well, that's
on
where
a
the big
field.
hill is. The big hill is in the woods.
Yeah,
good.
I just
Run right
got
into
one
a
for
tree.
my 2 granddaughters, and it even in the, you can buy 100, must be 100 feet long, costs $100, I know that. Roll it out down there and put the hose on it.
But you've been around long enough to remember when, what did they call that on 62? The Snake Hill, was it called?
Yeah.
Oh, Snake Hill, sliding down Snake Hill, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
This would be more to that end, Walter,
Yeah.
not so much
Yeah.
a slip and slide.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just.
No problem.
Well, this thing here is just, I mean, I walked out there and I said, what the heck is this, I mean, there's just quite an enormous amount of fill in there. If I was doing it, it wouldn't be nearly as intrusive as that. And I look, it is illegal, and I thought, what, it seemed pretty obvious to me that somebody putting in a pipe must know there's water there without coming to us, so I don't, so that's why we put the enforcement order.
I left a big 20-foot pipe right next to it. I surely wasn't trying to hide it.
But I'm sorry, I live across the street, kind of. So I know
What's
Buddy
your name?
used, I'm Holly Kennedy
Oh, nice to
Digratola.
meet you.
Very nice to meet you. I think you know my husband, my dog Griffin.
Oh, I know your
My
dog.
Griffin.
How it works.
Actually, he's going to be in a Boston Ballet.
Nice.
Yeah, anyway, I know, crazy. I know Buddy uses the cart path to get his equipment back there. I don't think he's ever, I know, because he can't actually access a lot of that land where that ridge is now, because it's so wet. But he usually would use like the other driveway to get back and do the equipment and try and hay a lot of that stuff at the higher level. So
Maybe in that case you know more than me because you've been looking
just
at
so you
it.
know, and that's why, because
and that may be true because but I just bought the property
Sure, I
and
know,
I
I
just
understand.
I took it and looking at it from where I was I know I want to get back there.
Sure.
Riding 4-wheelers back there or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to go.
So just so when I saw that being built, I said, good. I went up and I said, what's going on? Because that wasn't there before, and what's the intent of that? And the explanation I was given was to get equipment to get through and to perk the land for the new septic. And I said, oh, okay. And And then I was just concerned that maybe down the road, a road would be built there. That's all my concern was.
If there
Because I
is,
do
it's
live across
probably,
the
it
street.
would probably be for my grandkids. But if I could build a road, maybe I would choose to do that 20 years from now or 15 years from now.
Right. Okay.
But I would do it legally and through.
Okay.
So this is the cart path that you're talking about?
Right, that's how Buddy
And
gets
this
back
is
there.
on your property?
Yeah, so
Cart path?
this hatched area would indicate where you're looking at in this plan view, and I have more copies if you guys would like. Send one
So
over
that's
there
how
just so
Buddy
everyone
pays the
can
land.
see.
It has been. I think last year it didn't get done because it was really wet. A lot of us had a lot of wetland.
And that's what he had told me.
Yeah, so then he's looking to do this year, and then he mentioned that, you know, as long as he had permission to get back on that cart path, that's how he would access and hay that backfield.
Yeah, I know, yes, yep.
Just because he's gonna
Just
do
for
ours next
reference,
too.
so this is what the area that we're looking at in the detail. These wetlands come all the way through, and you can see there's another buffer zone shown at the bottom of your plan. They run basically parallel with this far lot line, but this area in general is 200 to 300 feet from the side lot lines. It's quite a big area
Sure.
there.
So I'm just curious why you wouldn't be able to use this cart path and restore this.
I can just attest, you can see the grade change here.
Sure.
This drops down quickly. It looks like at one time, I think the flow was more channelized through there. There's an exposed piece of ledge there. It's difficult to get a four-wheel drive truck across that.
It's very small width-wise.
Yeah, so that, I think that,
This is just kind of an exploratory hearing, right?
Yep.
We're just talking it over. You know, the bottom line, Mr. Muldoon, I mean, I look at that, it could have been something put in there much less extravagant than that. I mean, even a smaller pipe, less intrusive, without filling in so much of the wetlands there. And so that's what I'm looking at. And I know this road too. I've walked it and hunted out in this area. But there is an alternative, something less filling and stuff. The thing's 20 feet wide, 25 feet wide or so, isn't it? It's quite wide.
I don't know the exact numbers,
It's
but I would
very
guess,
wide.
I think the pipe's 20 feet wide, so maybe it is.
Really, you know, it's just,
And what kind of flow happens here?
from what I was told is there was a buried farm crossing, probably a clay pipe that clogged up, and that seems to be, works well with the field conditions in that things are coming across this way, and then they're hitting the stone wall. There's a thick brush line there, and then that's why you have these wetlands forming in a much broader area that extending out into the field there. And then once they make it through the wall, the topography drops off quite a bit over there. So
well, I've seen this flowing enough here so you couldn't, you know, you had to wade across it here. You couldn't find stones
Well,
to
yeah,
jump
that's-
on. So
that's why
this-
we're-
it's quite wet.
Right.
It
So-
can be quite wet in there.
But even if this is the exact representation of what's been filled in, if you're driving across here, you're still driving in wetlands.
yeah, the wetlands
So-
have ponded up. I mean, when you look at the crossing, it's not even finished. It's got a huge hump in it. Did you have it was dumped, the rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Want to go look at it?
I think so.
I think other people
Pat,
besides
too.
me should look at it.
Pat's been there.
Pat's been there.
Oh, these
I see it all the
are these
time
his
because I live
flags?
across the
Yeah.
street from it.
John, you want to do a site walk?
Pat looked at the flags with me, not these latest ones, but we've been out
When
to
we
the
can all
site
go
twice now.
At some point, yeah. I think, again, you know, you didn't know that you weren't supposed to do this, and
Sure.
you're here, which
Yeah.
is awesome. And I think we can work together, but I don't think we can just say, oh, well, what's done is done.
Sure.
And so I think we do need to work on figuring something out that that we can all live with.
Sounds good.
All right.
Let's set a date. When you around ever?
Yeah.
During the week or something? Even an evening, I can
Sure.
do evening to any darn time, you know?
Right, I mean, after 5, most days is better for me. I can do a couple afternoons. John, what's your schedule? I know Wednesdays you're available. Is that it during the week?
Late Friday, maybe. The rest of the day, time, absolutely not.
Okay, what about,
He's
but you're
biking.
around on weekends?
Oh, yeah. Most of the weekends, yeah. I mean,
Right,
not, you know.
and you're around on weekends?
Somewhat, yeah. Usually in the morning or late Fridays work for me now, if I need to go back there.
Okay. Any week except for this week, I can do Friday. I can do Saturday or Sunday this weekend.
I can too.
I can do it early.
Can we do early Saturday morning?
What's early?
You can decide what.
6?
No.
6, no.
No.
Why not?
Because I'll still be sleeping. I don't know, 9?
9 works.
Saturday?
9 Saturday, 9 o'clock Saturday morning?
I've got a problem with that. I'm going to be at the Cape on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to be there
would
for
like to be
this?
there.
Okay. So that's not going to work.
I could be back Sunday.
Can your wife be there?
She's going to be with me at the Cape.
Oh, you on vacation?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So Sunday, late afternoon, Sunday I'm going to be, I have a family thing at 4.
won't work for me.
Yeah.
Or the following week. How quick you got to move on this?
There's no application, so this is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's, trying to think what's next Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday afternoon you guys have.
Yeah,
Right,
so 5
here.
would, 5 would be,
So the 14th,
5 would be the
so,
earliest, just to be
Right.
safe.
Wednesday won't make it. Next Wednesday won't work for me. I got another meeting,
okay.
but don't let me stop you. I mean,
Well, do you feel like you want to go out there and see this?
I'd like to see it, yeah, but
All right.
I mean,
Let's just go now.
yeah.
You can
Yeah.
go out there. Go take a
Be able
look
to
at
see what
if you-
happens
if
when
Mr.
it rains.
Apple will let you on there.
Yeah, he doesn't mind letting me walk in it.
Sure.
Okay.
Um,
And then you guys go together. and just-
all right. So the earliest I can do on Wednesday is 5:30. So,
That worked great for me.
okay.
Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, the 14th at 5:30.
Maybe where?
35 Randall Road.
We're across the street from 48 Randall Road, my house.
So you got to service cookies.
Yeah, I'll serve you cookies. I'll be with you in that other meeting, so go to my house and have cookies and beer. Arthur came over and had
Those don't
beer.
go together. Pickles and beer. Chips
Pickles
and
and
beer.
chips and
Not
beer.
cookies and beer.
All right, guys.
See you next Wednesday.
We'll decide,
Sounds good.
we'll decide the menu later. All right, thank you very much.
Sure.
And
Don't
thanks for
bring
coming in.
These are for you.
Amazing job.
Thanks.
I mean, it
Thank
looks
you.
fantastic. I love
If
the
you need more, let me
garage
know.
behind all of the
All right,
lines.
so do you have everything you need from me?
Thank you for that
Did we,
so much.
no, I didn't give.
You know
Did you
what
guys
it's like
sign
full.
the order?
Yep, right here, hold on.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's,
just I
Let me
was
just
I
check
like,
the delivered by
love
hand.
this when I saw them come in. I was like, what's going on?
I definitely want to get back there. So, I mean, how we work it out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but I don't have any plans, 0 plans to develop. None.
Okay.
All right.
I just heard from
10 years
others.
from now, I don't know.
There are two
No.
here? Is there?
The oldest.
No,
grandkid-
that's
okay.
the original.
The youngest
Great.
is
I have a
one.
copy for me and a copy for DEP.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you guys for your time.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
See ya.
Take care. Nice meeting you guys.
You too.
You too.
Are you associated with Mr. Sawyer, by the way?
Who, me? I try to be.
No, I just.
I try to be.
I'm the one that talked him into putting the culvert in.
I believe it.
Mike.
I was gonna mention, who was the contractor?
You gonna pull it out for him too?
Why the hell did you do that?
That's why he was so nervous.
Yeah, well. Yeah,
Mike just went and put it in?
Yeah,
that's a that
I think so.
makes me unhappy.
Yeah.
That's,
All the nice things.
He does all his work, so
Well,
still.
he should have advised them.
Should have known better.
Yep.
It was actually a good bill to throw Mike under the bus.
Yeah.
We could have done.
What do we say? 5:30.
How could you serve beer and cookies? I mean, think about it.
All right.
Chocolate? Yeah, chocolate cookies and beer. Ooh,
No.
yeah.
How about
Never.
anchovies and
How about
crackers?
donuts? And
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have anything else for the
We have
meeting?
ants don't like it, a lot of them.
So we can close the meeting
So
and,
this is not peach
are you-
shelter.
We haven't done treasurer's
Oh,
report
you're-
yet.
Are we dealing with these?
you're right, we haven't. You're right, sorry.
I
And we've
couldn't
got
understand
expenses
what
here that need
the
to be-
enforcement order was
Yeah.
on Peach Hill.
Everybody just.
Yeah,
Did all
that's
the
what
mail
it
though,
is,
right?
the peach
We did
Hill.
all the mail. Yeah, sorry, it should be on the agenda, it should say Randall, not Peach
Oh,
Hill.
okay.
Oh.
That
'Cause I
was
didn't know you had property on
my
Peach Hill.
bad.
Okay, Mr. John, are you ready for a treasurer's report?
Yeah.
Okey-doke. Here we go. Balances as of 6:30.
Whoa, you have to, I
6:30.
block print here.
He Dr. Prince.
Yeah.
You ready?
So
Wetlands.
Yeah.
is $8,481.97.
So wetlands, $8,481.97.
Correct. Open space, 278,
Who
927.
was that, Carol?
278,
927.87.
927.
No.
Okay, that does not include the
Round up to
$8,000 we
9,
approved.
279.
That has not come out of there yet, nor the Wendell property. Budget is, at year end, was $53.50.
$53.50.
Correct. But
Good
that is-
job.
That is all gone, and we started new. I don't even know whether they approved it. They approved our
I think we're
225 or 2 something, or whatever it was. 2,500?
I told
Is it
Buzz to double our
2,500?
budget.
Yeah. We did up
From $10 to 20. Yeah,
Okay, so these
All
are
right.
okay for you to sign, because I do agree with the balances, which is what I just rattled off.
all right, excellent.
Okay, we voted on Leanne's reimbursement. but
Yep.
You also passed on to me the, oh, what is this?
I think they're just copies.
Oh, well, we haven't, did you guys do this at last meeting, the MACC?
Oh, we did not, the MACC, we did not. We
These
got that last meeting.
This is all the stuff that we did before. It's all my handwriting. What the heck is this? I don't know. Forms need to return no matter what these ones. I don't know why this number's different from that number. I'll have to look at that. Okay, and then the other thing is we have the annual dues for MACC. Still staying at $425.
Make a motion to pay MACC $425.
Second.
Second.
She got it first.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Me.
Aye.
Me.
Okay.
Aye. So-
All right, so the two we have on this week's schedule are the MACC and Leanne's. Anything else that we missed?
I do not believe so. Right, no one has any reimbursements? Oh, I will have some reimbursements for some diorama supplies. Having a real, that is a rabbit hole. Oh, the whole model train diorama thing. It is insane,
What's
some of the
that?
stuff people do. So I'm making a wetlands diorama for Berlin Home Bay.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, let me get some trees. And so I started looking. It is bananas, some of the stuff that people do.
Really?
Some of the stuff you can do. Some of the, yeah, it's,
Really?
there's this stuff called static grass. It's little pieces of, I don't even know what the rail fiber is, but you hook it up to something that you plug in and you shake it out onto your models and it makes all the grass stand up straight.
Oh, like magnetic.
Yeah,
Like
static.
tiling.
Yeah.
Static display.
You can make a whole field.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool and it's a little crazy. So, but I did buy some stuff. I bought some epoxy resin to make our stream, and I did buy some stuff to make trees. So now I just have to make them, because it was significantly cheaper to make them, to buy the parts and make them than buy them made. So, yep. So I'll have that at the next meeting.
Cool.
And yeah. So I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have anything else?
Nope, just the other item.
Yep.
Where is the status of the Community Preservation Act at this time? And are they putting money into it now?
My-
This tax year, or what?
It has
When
not
does
started.
it
It has
kick in?
not started. It's the year after.
Is it FY '20? We're in FY '20 right now.
Maybe
And I
21.
think it's FY '21 that they start
they'll
collecting the
start.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we still do have a
Waiting.
All right.
little bit of a ways.
So we've got basically 280,000 at this point.
Minus
No,
130.
Minus 130.
Oh, minus 130,
Yeah.
okay.
So we basically have 130,000.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay.
I walked the Wendler the other day, piece with the guy from the state.
Oh, did you?
We
Oh,
might get
good.
reimbursement. Dan Stimson came along, but, he seemed pretty impressed with it, so
Good.
I think we got a good shot at that.
Right, this is the land grant that we have applied for the state. So that's, and it's what, like 75% reimbursement
That's pretty high.
of the 130?
Yeah.
So, that is huge, yeah.
Took my granddaughters over to the rail trail in Boylston the other day. Anybody ever been on that?
No.
Yeah.
It's
West
dirt and
Boylston?
it's wonderful.
The West Boylston one?
In West Boylston?
Yeah.
West Boylston, yeah. Yeah.
That's a nice rail trip.
Yeah, nice, goes along the bubbly brook, I mean, the river there. Nice.
Walter, do you want to say how we went to the state Fish and Wildlife and
Oh,
talked?
yeah.
No, just that top page.
John and Liz and I went over to Fish and Wildlife a couple of weeks ago. We met with the wildlife biologist, the habitat biologist, Mary Ann Pichet, and got her going. She's going to look into what opportunities we could apply for grants, or who we could work with to start to manage our woodlands a little better with a goal towards improving them for wildlife habitat, as well as timber harvesting and income producing. But anyway, so that's going on, and I want to look into everything from,
And even
we put up
protected
a
species.
For what?
Remember the protected species? She's going to look to see if there are any protected species areas.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
then,
Right, well,
we
the
can preserve-
We
Wendler
had
property
that,
is
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
part of.
but maybe even more.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, it opened the door, and we're working on it. See what we can come up. We'll keep you informed. Obviously, I'm not going to pose anything for any piece of land without getting a vote on it.
Awesome.
So we still have an executive session to finish up.
Right, well, are
Motion
we,
to close this one?
We just shut down this one.
right.
Cool.
Because we're not going to vote on anything tonight anyway, so we can inform. So motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Me.